What's up, guys? I think we're good. I think I'm live. I don't know if anyone's here yet, but I will wait a few minutes. And if anyone does pop in the next couple seconds, if you could just let me know how my mic sounds. I know sometimes my fan and stuff can overpower it, so I didn't give much notice, so I'm gonna give it a few minutes. But I just like to know everyone can hear me. Hey, what's up? All right, perfect. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you coming along. It's probably gonna take a few minutes till we get some people. What's up, Electrifying? How's it going? Cool. All right, I'm glad you guys came along. I think this is gonna be fun. So I tried to get. If it's too bright, let me know. I don't like the brightness, but I thought it'd be weird if you guys just saw me like sitting here in the dark. So I mean, I could turn off a light. Just let me know. If you guys don't care, then that's cool too. But I wanted to go into today's obviously the halftime games. I'm sure a lot of people people were like, we should do this at halftime because we can talk about the shit that's going on. Maybe it'll help us with some second half bets, things of that nature. Oh, what's up, Electrifying? No problem, man. I moved to Florida a little bit ago too, so I know moving is actually, believe it or not, moving is the second most stressful thing in life after death. It's ahead of divorce. So hopefully everything went good for you, man. And I'm hoping you like Florida. But yeah, I wanted to go into the games we got going on, but I also wanted. I'm sure people have different type of things they observed in the games. I didn't see most of them, so if you guys watched a particular game and someone had a question, like if they think a certain team seems like they're selling, just let me know. I've been checking the ESPN thing, where it tells you where they're driving, all that stuff. But that's about it. So right now, I'm not too sure. It looks like the Commanders are good. It looks like the Colts are going to cover. Fields got 73. Oh, you got all right. So Steve, I know you went with that. Yeah, I know you went with that parlay, and that's good because I don't see that coming down to a game where they're in the victory formation at the end, and he's going to probably run a little more. So good job. You can make a lot off player props. It's a really nice way to make money, especially if you're watching a game and you notice a certain player. In this case, it's different, but just say you're watching a game and you're watching the Packers and Aaron Jones really isn't getting carries, or they're doing that split position where they put two running backs in. That'll happen a lot, and it'll screw you out of a player prop. So a lot of times I will go with the quarterbacks and the player props because at least the ball's in their hand every play. But yeah, so Field should go over. I'm waiting for him to go over 200 passing yards. I don't know if he did yet, but a couple weeks in a row I've been putting a little bit on him to go over 200 because he hasn't in a long time. I think he might have finally did it. So okay, so now yeah, so we're gonna be talking about Denver. That's gonna be a fun game. I do have Russ, by the way. I'll go into my picks, but I do have Denver covering. I think they're 2.5 point favorites, and I do like Denver. I think people are going to be fading Russ, and they still have a playoff run in them. I don't think they're phonies like the who is it, the Packers. I don't think they're phonies where they're just going to kind of lose out when we expect them to win. Always last touchdown was to 80. Does Wilson passes 300 to 80. Greg Dolce. So it's very possible, uh, I do know Greg Dolchich is one of their better. Like, he comes through a lot. He's one of those tight ends that just randomly comes through. Uh, and I think Dolchich can definitely be the guy that gets number 300. I also think that this is a perfect game against Vegas. Madden's like the father of football. I think he gets the record or passes it tonight, to be quite honest, against the Raiders. I really do. I think it's the right game. If nothing else, he's going to tie it and then break it at home. But I just think because, the Raiders, you think Vegas, you think Madden. A lot of people just think, Madden, the greatest mind ever to exist. I think it's an interesting one where Russ might pass it tonight. And can Philly, so if Phillies win straight, well, yeah, they can. I took the Colts plus the 7 because I think they want to force this NFC Beast narrative. And to force that narrative, they can't have the Eagles running away, or the Giants. I think that's why they're keeping them in check. They're keeping the Cowboys. They're basically keeping it where it seems like anyone in the division can beat each other, right? The Commanders just beat the Eagles. Looks like they're going to improve, like I had thought. And with the Packers' loss, it really opens up the NFC Beast in the playoffs narrative. And it just seems like that's where they're going. It really does. So Eagles could definitely win, but it would make sense to me if the Colts just straight up did the upset. Like I said, I thought the Eagles were probably going to win but not cover. That was my original assessment, and they might pull away with a 3-point to 7-point victory. But I actually think it makes more sense to show some chinks in their armor. And when you show some chinks in their armor, thanks, Rob, and I appreciate it. You've always been great, and I appreciate all the support. Rogers, he's been a funny inside joke, and we can freaking continue to laugh at that bum all year. He's just been ridiculous. What's up, Mike? Yeah, I like. It's funny. I like freaking. I'm from Philly, but I do like Florida. I like them both. I've been out to Vegas. I like Vegas. I couldn't live there, but I do like it out there. I just like different places for different reasons. I like Florida because you can, if you want it like quiet, you can find a quiet spot. If you want some action, you can find some action. Uh, so 1.5 is the 145. So yeah, Vegas is indicating he's going to probably just get the one. But again, we have to remember a lot of these numbers, in my opinion at least, are psychological. So I think Vegas will set a lot of psychological spreads. Someone looks at it, they see minus 200 on something, and they're like, "Oh, that's a lock." He's not. It's not. And believe it or not, more like some. So I see that so much in tennis, but it happens a lot with the props where on any given day you're going to have a bunch of players that get plus on their props. Oh, you're later on the Colts are up seven. It's funny. Somebody else. Yeah, oh, yeah, you're the one who told me. Okay, yeah, we talked about that in the Discord. They do that shit a lot. It seems like my book's very good. That's the reason I accept the what I believe to be not disrespect. It's not. It's the juice is nowhere. It's not as good as other books, but my lines are open. They don't lock the lines really on me early, and the spread money line lines are usually accurate with ESPN. So sometimes it's like a half point behind, but that's what I like. My books seldomly close unless it's like towards the end of a game. So I'm sorry that happened. Uh, the Eagles money line at that point is going to be better odds, of course, because they're probably around even, I would presume, and they're a good team. So I hope they win for you, and I hope that Indy still covers. Yeah, Washington. I just knew they were going to win. I wish you got that one because again, the Texans. I think they're getting the first. Or they're playing the Giants. Oh no, Lions playing Giants. They're playing Texans. I think they get the first pick in the draft. To be quite honest, 120. Okay, yeah, it's usually what it'd be like when you're the better team down seven. Yeah. Uh, so here's the thing with the Texans. I think they're going to give Lovey Smith the first pick in the draft. Give him Bryce Allen or something. And I really do think that's why I picked some of the teams I went with. Just to, for if you haven't seen my last video. So right now the score, and it's funny. Just throw this in there. I didn't plan my video. I just said, okay, I'll do it around 2:30. That should be when halftime is, right? How is it that every single game is in halftime at the same time? They all went to halftime around the same time. That alone should tell you it's coordinated. It's choreographed. The referees are all put on a timeline. So what happens is basically like wrestling. This is what I believe happens. You come out and okay, we don't care what happens in the first 4 minutes, but at the 11-minute mark, there's going to be an interception by the away team. Okay. Then we don't give a shit what happens until the 4-minute mark, but then you're going to score a touchdown. And that's really all they need to do. But if you notice, just like baseball, these games all end at the same time. You'll have one or two outliers. You just can't have that without coordination. You're going to have a 5-hour game eventually. You're going to. You're going to have a team that runs the ball a lot. You're going to have a team that passes a lot, and it stops the clock. So again, all these games are in halftime, but it makes it a good time to discuss it. So yeah, the Commanders, I think they pushed the NFC Beast where they can't do anything with the Texans except spoil. And the only games I see the Texans spoiling are teams that are much better than them. Teams like the Vikings or even teams like the Cardinals that people think have more talent. So that's the reason I like the Skins or the Commanders. So the Colts did score again. I see it's 13-3. It looks like actually. So sure, the Eagles can come back again. I just like the Colts because Saturday took over as the coach, and they love Jeff Saturday. They treat him very well, and it'll give the fans some hope. I do think they lose a little bit after this game. That's an interesting stat. So what happens with, in my opinion, Steve, but it's a good stat. What happens with advanced metrics is eventually you will run into something where a team will meet that metric. Okay, so I'm going to explain the metrics. The simple metric would be against the spread. Okay, and we look at the worst team against the spread. Right? I think it's Denver or some shit. Whatever they are, 2-1 and 8, 2-8, and I like that team obviously because they're shitty against the spread. Now you can go into advanced metrics and you can check after a bye week. You can check at home. All these different things against the spread. And what happens is if you hold on, I think there's a glare. Let me see if this is too dark. That's not bad. There was a big glare on my TV. If that's too dark, let me know. I'll put it back on. But honestly, I like darkness. Uh, so what happens is, yeah, you get these advanced metrics, and eventually, if you look at like a team at home with a winning record against the spread, you might find one that goes on a ridiculous string. So I'm not, yeah, yeah. The Giants on the under on in this case, they went 15-16 in the last home games. It looks like, yeah. So something like that might happen. But what's not going to happen is them, in my opinion, going under just in general, home or away. Like you're not going to see a team go under 10 games in a row. That's why this year in the NFL, the worst team is at. Oh, that's what it was. The Broncos are only on one or two on the over, so I took the over for them at 4 o'clock. But yeah, it's just some metrics like undisputed metrics, like just simple against the spread, they'll hold. Where it gets murky is if you start looking at home or again, you get more specified in the metrics, then you can find teams that go 100% in any specific metric, whether it be at home, after a bye, a playoff team. Yeah, your mom's from Philly. Yeah, my whole family's from Philly, Jersey. I like them both. I miss the food. The people are cool. Something, a lot of shit's changed, but I like Philly. I grew up actually a Jets fan, believe it or not, because everyone was Philly fans, and we were in Jersey. So I was like, well, I'll take the green team. The green was my favorite color, and I just wanted to be different. So that's the only reason I even chose the Jets. And I wouldn't say I have a team now, but they're my childhood team. But yeah, looking at the games, we start off pretty slow on the 1 o'clocks. The announcer said, "Oh, he actually brought out that the under." That's interesting. And let's look at the score, 23. It's right about on par. So this is a good live bet here. So this one, I like the over. It's under 43 is the line for Giants Lions. Yeah, yeah. So if there's a live over, I think it's a good play for the simple reason you have announcers saying that, oh, they've gone under so many times, and then they conveniently kind of storm down the field, turn the ball over. Now this has happened in a couple games, like yesterday with college, and it's showing that the pace is definitely over 43 and a half. They're just doing dumb shit that's making them right now. I think the total score they're at 23 or something. So yeah, I like the over there, Steven. I think that's a good pick. Especially if the announcer says something. If the announcer says something, then typically it does stand to reason just because they have they have to give away the script. So yeah, I like the over. Bryce Young, yeah, I think he goes to 10. I don't see where else he would go than the Texans. I was kind of hoping like Mike Tomlin got him. So guys, tell me if this makes sense, and then I'll get back to football, like the NFL. I was looking at the football lineup, right, and you can look at their stats. University of Kentucky, Will Levis. It's supposed to go like fourth in the draft. Okay, it's supposed to go like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and then him. And then like in the second round, in the middle of the second round, we got Hendon Hooker. And I just find it interesting. How does the NFL know Levis is going to be a great quarterback? Go look at his numbers, look at his highlights. I wish I could screen share because I'd show him, but it's just very interesting how this man. Again, it just shows these people are chosen. Anybody watching, any scouts, any NFL team that saw these guys would definitely want Hendon Hooker over maybe even Stroud, just because Hendon Hooker has proven to be a little more reliable. But Stroud's been killing it. My point is, Levi is for him to be Levi's, however you pronounce it, to just be randomly a top five pick when his team didn't do well this year, and he didn't even get he got one touchdown, I think it was at his last game. Makes no sense to me at all. So yeah, maybe you guys can tell me more about him and why he is so much ranked so much ahead of Hendon Hooker. I just think it's rigged. Cowboys Vikings, that one's an interesting one. I believe it's a 1.5 spread, and I believe it's in Minnesota. And that one's going to be a very telling one. I think the Cowboys win for a few reasons. One of the reasons, I think, again, it's the NFC beast. So say the Eagles lose, and they might not lose. They might narrowly win. But either way, I think it's safe to say that they want to keep this team strong. So I'm looking at the spread right now. Giants, I think, might pull off the win, but not cover the 3 points. That's why I took Detroit with the three. But yeah, Cowboys, okay, it's -2 now, so they're 2-point favorites. I like the Cowboys. There's a couple reasons. One is just a very obvious one, 6-3 versus 8-1. You're gonna have a lot of people pounding the Vikings at home. Oh, cool, they are out. Okay, yeah, they're gonna update it again after Georgia. but I am curious. I bet you did USC flip LSU? Steve, let me know. I'm pretty sure they did. They should have at least. They did. They flipped USC. I knew they were going to weasel their way in. Yeah. So, and I don't mind them being in, but Tennessee kind of had to move out. LSU kind of has to move out, and of course Michigan's going to have to move out because TCU is not even if TCU loses their last game, they still get in my opinion. But like I said, the whole thing was to get USC in there. Where I was wrong in my theory was I had Tennessee, Alabama probably still around eight, I would guess 7 or 8. Uh, they're not getting in, obviously we know that. But my theory, and I went over this with Steve in the Discord, was they were going to do anything they could to get USC in there, or a Pac-12 team in there, and it made sense for USC because they only had one loss. That's why I love them so much yesterday against the. Sorry about that, got a little dark. That's why I love them so much yesterday against UCLA because UCLA winning would not have got them in there. But oh, thanks, I appreciate that. Straight, that means a lot. MP5, what's up, man? I'm glad to see you. We got USC yesterday, uh, but I was just talking about USC, so I'll go over it. To me, it just doesn't make sense that UCLA won because if they were to win, not much, man. We were just going over the top five, like four teams in the college, and I was going off. I was off with my theory. I thought I was going to finish with Tennessee in there. TCU gets the boot, but Tennessee got the boot, which is going to knock USC in once Michigan loses. That's just my opinion. Even if well, yeah, I don't think Michigan wins. I don't. I think they have to have Ohio State, Georgia, TCU. You got the outside chance of Clemson, but I think it's going to be USC at 11-1 with the Pac-12 championship. Yeah, and you know what else is funny? Have you guys noticed they've been showing a lot of Reggie Bush commercials? Remember they got penalized after they quote cheated, whatever you want to call it. He took bribes, and for like the next couple of years, they weren't even ranked even when they were winning. They kind of got a penance, if you will, which is the dumbest thing ever, by the way. So Reggie Bush fucks up. So all you aspiring athletes who did absolutely nothing wrong, we're going to punish you for the next 2 years. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? But that's what they did. Now I think they're getting now. They waited long enough. The nostalgia for USC is back. Again, they're pushing Caleb. They pushed DTR yesterday. If you guys watched that game, DTR's acting was damn good. I'll give him that. But it was obviously a fake injury that this man had, just for them to keep it close. But of course, they had Caleb Williams come out on top, and now they're already talking about. This is how I knew Oregon was going to win. After that, they're already talking about. Oh, could you imagine Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams? That would be a barn burner. So that's what's next. Caleb versus. I'm guessing that's the Pac-12 championship. Yeah, it's who they want in and out. Exactly, MP5. And I should have understood that since they're basically giving Hendon the Heisman. They gave them the win over Alabama. They gave them more than they've had in a long time. I should have understood they're probably out, but I thought they'd get them in there because they do have a really good team. Why TCU? They have to be in. Even if they lose their last game, I don't think they're going to get knocked out of the top four because every other team has 2 losses, unless you include like Coastal California. It's about money. Yeah, I agree, but I was going over this with Steve in the Discord when Cincinnati got in last year. People were not happy. They were angry that they got in, and it became a talking point. So now if TCU does it, it's 2 years in a row that an inferior team got in because of an easy schedule, and then they might talk about changing the playoff structure. So I think TCU would have lost this week if they weren't going to draw. I don't think they're just going to have them lose to Iowa State. They could, of course, but they're not going to have an undefeated team not in there. And now again, it's different. They treat teams differently. North Carolina, they straight out came out and said they can finish with one loss and it won't matter. But they're treating TCU differently. You can tell by the narrative. So even though they're not going to draw, they want Max Duggan in there for some reason. Notre Dame, I haven't really seen much of them. I did pick them a few weeks ago to spoil. They played a good team. You probably know they were a ranked team, and I had Notre Dame at home beating them because the spread looked fishy. Oh, I think it was Syracuse at the time, and they were ranked pretty high. I get them all mixed up, but yeah, Tennessee got rigged out in a real in my opinion. If it was they were playing as hard as they could every game, I don't think Tennessee's losing to South Carolina like that. That's just my opinion. Ohio State beats Georgia. Yeah, I think they're pushing Ohio State more, especially CJ. A couple people that are Ohio State fans are telling me not they're not going to do it. I'm starting to wonder if USC does it. I really am. Michigan, they haven't been talked about, but more so because they're boring. whereas USC has some draws. They're showing Caleb Williams entering the Heisman just like Duggan and the others. I think USC winning makes a lot of sense, to be quite honest. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I think they've kept them kind of quiet, and now they're going to, secretly win the Pac 12. They'd probably be the fourth ranked team. They could be third. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, they could even flip TCU because I think if they win the Pac 12, see, you have an undefeated TCU, it's tough, but I still think they would flip them. I agree with you. But I think they both still get in. Uh, not really. So here's what I'm gonna do. MP5. I'm gonna try for the future because my sports book. Oh, nice, good job, Lions. That game looked like a trap. My sports book is lets me watch the games. Okay, so there's no copyright issues. So what I'm thinking about doing is if you guys can help me too, get like an OP. I think it's OPS. Someone said it was called, where I can screen share and we can kind of watch them together. It'd be pretty cool because I know you guys want to watch the games, and I don't want to be talking when you're trying to pay attention to the game. So if we could do both, that'd be great. I just have to get the software downloaded. So I figured for now I could just go over what I'm noticing. But I've been tuning in. I see they're keeping the Bears Falcons close. I still like the Falcons. I think they cover a close game. It's not the Bears season. So for live, I like them. The other ones are, a lot of them aren't close. Patriots, I still like them. Not much has changed there. As I said earlier, I do think I said it before halftime before that the Giants Lions, I thought it was going to go over. Sure enough, the Lions are just scored a touchdown. So looks like it's going over. A lot of times you can tell by the pace. And I always put this stuff out of my Discord. So that was a good call by Steve because it was obvious once the guy said that and the way they were playing in the first half. The second half was going to be a lot more upbeat. So it looks like they're going to hit that over, in my opinion. 4 o'clock picks. I'm going to go over them in 1 second. So on team BS that can chaos at LSU beats Georgia in this title game. Yeah, that could happen. I guess Michigan can win a game and make it interesting. The Discord I post it on every video like this, so I've only done one live, but mostly videos. I agree, MP5. I think we got that trap, which is nice. Scotty, I don't know. I think right now, what's the song, Scotty? I don't know, but no, I do think that it's going to be. I think the Colts are going to pull it off. I do. If the Eagles win, it's going to be so close that the Colts are still going to cover. But as far as the four, Don, I'm going to hit them in 1 second. The Discord, yeah, I post a link on the top of every. Like, it'll be my first comment. I'll pin it. Oh, sorry about that, man. Yeah, I don't do much fantasy. I just I try and do player props if I can. And I have that section in my Discord for player props. So who are my 4 o'clock picks? I like Broncos. I'm riding with Russ. I again we have to look at. I did the same thing with the college playoffs. We have to look at who can theoretically get in, right? So if a certain team wins today, like the Raiders, could they make a run? No, they can't. They're too far behind other teams. You got the Jets playing the Patriots, so one of them teams is going to advance. It's probably going to be the Patriots. But my point is, in the AFC, they are racing for wild card rate. None of these teams are going to, outside of the NFC East. I don't think any of these teams are competing for the division. You got the Chiefs locked it down, Titans locked it down. I think the Bills are going to lock it down pretty soon. So that's just my opinion there. And then if we go to the later games on the NFC side, like I said, it's the Broncos' only chance on the AFC side. Sorry, is I'm not too sure if LSU beats Georgia. Again, I'm not as familiar with the rankings as you are. I would imagine. I don't think it would knock them out of the. They're undefeated. I don't think it would do anything as far as knock them out of the top four, but they wouldn't be obviously ranked as high as they are. You might see a team like USC might like flip them, in my opinion, if they also have one loss. But I'm not as familiar with that schedule. Yeah, that should be a fun game. I'm gonna okay. There's six. I'm gonna watch. That's another thing. And I'm gonna go into the 4 o'clock games. I just like to cover everything. Instead of forgetting it. USC was ranked seventh, and UCLA was ranked. I don't think they could sneak in. I don't think there's any way they can sneak in without literally like the top seven teams all just melting down, or whoever's ahead of them all just melting down, because there's too many teams with arguments. With the two losses, even if they argue Bryce was hurt, I just don't see it. But what's up, Peter? I'm glad you made it. We were just going into the NFL 4 o'clock games and in the college playoffs. But yeah, I think Denver wins because the Broncos can win out, and even if they lose, yeah, they're done. Even if they lose one game, they can still win out and make it in. They play the Chiefs twice. They got to split them. I actually did a calculator, just a regular like, and you can do it. They have these like algorithm. It's an algorithm, and you just type in who's going to win each week, and it'll tell you who makes the playoffs. So based off of my honest algorithm, where I have the Broncos losing one to the Chiefs, I have them losing a game to like the Chargers or something. I have them losing games that are 50-50, but I have them winning games they should win. They actually get in as a seventh seed. They just get in ahead of Miami. So I still think Russ keeps it interesting. I don't think it's like Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is going to make it interesting too, but he's going to fall just short, and everyone's going to feel bad for him. But I definitely think that I actually think Denver gets in the playoffs. So if you're looking at future bets, I like Denver. For today, for the 4 o'clock game, I love Denver. So if you're going to make one a second leg, I would make it Denver. Because like I said, the other two I like. I do like Dallas, just not as much as Denver. Good job, Saints. To me, that one looked like a trap. Again, you have to think of how the public's thinking. And last year, I would have picked the Rams with the logic. Yeah, they suck. Yeah, they're in New Orleans, but it's the Rams. It's the Rams. That would have been my stupid logic, and that's just a year or two ago. So now that we understand it's all rigged, yeah. So the coin flip guy has the Jets losing today. That's part of the reason I went with the Patriots. I did take them to cover, but I think they'll win and cover. But yeah, it's just to me the Saints is so indicative of how Vegas can trap people. And then people will say, "Oh, well, this game wasn't a trap. That this team was it looked like a trap, but this team won." Yeah, they're going to have games where they pay out the public. Oh, thanks. I got this. It's a stupid thing, but I actually got it from. I don't know if you ever heard of Seth Rollins. He's a wrestler, but I have an NFT project I was working on for WWE, and it's called Moonsault. You can check it out. I don't want to plug it, but basically, it's an NFT project, and I was helping him with his. I helped Matt. If you heard of Matt Lillard, the Scream guy, I helped him with his project, the Midnight Movie Club, and Seth Rollins gave me. It's not a. It's like a fake because he wears real. He sent me one of his suits, so I thought that was pretty cool. He always comes out wearing ridiculous suits, and I'm always like I live in Florida, so anytime I can, I'm talking to the wrestlers and stuff, and going to the conventions. And he's a cool ass guy, so like I wear this a lot just because it's Seth freaking Rollins. But yeah, I appreciate that, Peter. I usually just wear white tees to be honest. Any over? Yeah, Harry. I love the over on Denver. They're like 1-9 this year on the over. I think that they definitely uh, Denver definitely wins, and I think they go over. Everyone's going to be picking the under because both of these teams have been garbage, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's going to be a punt fest." I think Russell and Carr. I don't even know if Carr's playing, but I just think both teams do really well. Yeah, they're rigging the game, Scotty. That's why I picked the shitty teams. That's why I picked the Lions, the Colts, the Commanders. You know, even the Commanders was more 50-50, but a lot of these games. That's why I'm picking the shitty teams. The Saints. Uh, I don't think it's a coincidence that the shitty teams are winning like this. We just had the Commanders beat the Eagles. Now they're looking really strong. So what are they going to be talking on? I guarantee you, guys, I will beat them to the narrative. Tonight it's going to be, look at the NFC East. Oh my gosh, the best team in the NFC, the worst team in the NFC East is the same record as the Bubba Bills or some shit like that. You can already hear the narrative. And not to get too angry, but can you give me like a thumbs up or like a yes or something if you saw the UCLA game yesterday? Because I want to see if you noticed something. Even if you didn't, I'll just talk about it. Yes, okay. So I watched UCLA, DTR play like he normally does. Played a good game. USC played a better game. And then sure enough, like towards the end of the game, we get the injury where DTR's hand hits a helmet. And now it's like stuck in a fist until the next play where he just rockets a ball down the field. And I'm watching him. After he rockets the ball, he doesn't grab his hand. He's celebrating. And then he walks to the sideline holding his hand. And then you have these goofball announcers saying, "Oh, look at that hero. Look at him hold favor in that hand. Oh, this guy is a warrior." Oh. And it just I actually muted them, okay, because I like hearing their third quarter. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I like their narratives, like hearing what they're saying. But the way they were just gaslighting this shit, I'm like, I'd rather watch wrestling. It's more realistic. So I just muted these dipshits. And then, of course, I watched this asshole fake his injury all the way through the game just so they could cover the half a point. And that's why I specifically said in my video, money line or -3. That game was Trap City. We knew USC was going to win, but obviously they let them come back just to get into it. Another funny story. Stanford yesterday. I saw a video. PSC highlights. I guess he puts out football highlights. It's a good channel, but it says kicker makes pointless 3 point. Kicker Stanford kicker makes pointless 61-yard field goal. Well, that pointless 61-yard field goal put the score to 47 at the buzzer, and the over under was 46. So I commented and let him know it was not pointless. But my point is, there's just no way that, in my opinion, the these things, this guy just nails a 61 yarder that happens to make the game go over. These teams come back. TCU came back just enough to win, but not to cover that half. And that's why we faded TCU, because we knew shit like that was going to happen. Someone asked Broncos Jets. I think if it comes down to Broncos Jets, I think Broncos win that game. That's where I fade the coin flip guy. I think Broncos get pretty far, but not quite there. So that's just my opinion. They could put the Jets there, but they did it they did it with Sanchez. They did it before that. They did it a couple times. I think they're going to wait one more year and give them some stars and then make it happen. But they're already pushing guys like Sauce Gardner and stuff, so they definitely could. Yeah, 3-3, 3-3, 6-6. I'm not surprised. They do that shit all the time. I stayed away from Baltimore. I was leaning Baltimore to cover, so I'm glad we didn't do that one. New England, I think they pull ahead. I think they win by more than 3.5. Yeah, they were treating him like a hero. And then, yeah, he just kept holding his hand. It was completely like wrestling. The only difference is he no sold it. In wrestling, if a guy, quote, gets injured, he's going to hold, like every time he uses, he's going to hold it. This dipshit, every single time he's using his hand. He's like clenching the ball in the injured hand. He's taking hits of falling on the hand, and he's not selling it. He's only selling it like for a second. And then when he thinks the cameras are off, he stops selling. Eagles, actually, believe it or not, at the beginning, I was thinking maybe people are going to fade the Eagles, so maybe I should take them. But then I realized, uh, they're just Jeff Saturday's story was too strong for me. So yeah, it's definitely rigged. That's why you see the Colts; they can't score, and all of a sudden they can't be beaten. Yeah, Zach, I didn't know he threw 69, but I heard they said he can throw pretty far. Didn't Vic throw like 90 or something? Mobile betting, yeah, live bets are going to change everything. Like the over on the Giants game. I'm not saying it's definitely going to go over, but people are going to hear what that announcer said. They're going to see the score and probably bet the under on a live bet. So a lot of times, live action, I think, will change. Maybe not the winner, but it'll definitely change the spread. I know it changes the over under. That I know for a fact, just because I've seen too many games where a suspicious over under was listed, and then it just happened like a team up by like 14 decided to run down the field with 2 minutes left or something stupid like that. Or a team down by two touchdowns is playing slow. So they're not going to come back. Baltimore coming off bye week, team struggling. Yeah, that's a good pick. I know you mentioned the bye week thing. I haven't looked. There's so many metrics I look into. That's why I said I would like to have some kind of system where I can just plug in all the games, plug in all the scenarios, and it can kind of shoot me out who's won and lost in those scenarios. If I had that, we'd be on another level. Uh, You can just do live. I do them before the game. What I do though is I do wait on some of them. If I see a line at like 2.5 or 3.5, I'll wait because there's a good chance it'll flip against us or for us. And if it flips against us, obviously, then we might have to buy it down. But a lot of times I pick too early, and yeah, then they like the Heat is a good example. Steve, I feel bad. So this is what happened with Steve. You watched my video. Heat were 1 point favorites, and at the time Butler was playing, and I'm like, I'm going to go with the Heat. The next day, they were 6 point favorites. So I locked in my bet. Butler was out, but I still thought they'd cover because of the metric. But Steve was in at -1, and he wasn't the only one. I'm sure other people got in that night, and then it flipped the next day. So a lot of people got messed up on the Heat game just because they picked a little early, and it could happen the other way where it flips the other way. But it was suspicious, and they clipped people, which was messed up, and they do it all the time. They'll start a spread at like 2, they'll move it to like 4. They just did it. Not to sound braggadocious. I'm going to go over the overs. I love Denver. I'll tell you that right now. I love Denver to go over, and the Niners I'm going to look into as well. But yesterday it was a 4 point favorite. It was the Wolves against the Sixers. Sixers opened as 1 point favorites, And by the next morning, they said Maxi was out. So the Wolves were 2.5 points. Okay. I did my video when there were 3 points. And or actually 3.5, I'm sorry. And I specifically told people, I like the Sixers, but I'm sorry, I like the Wolves, but we're going to parlay them with the Clippers because I guarantee the Wolves are not going to cover the spread. It's going to be a 3 point game. Sure enough, it was exactly a 3 point game. So anyone that picked the Wolves spread lost, unless they picked it really early. So that's how Vegas clips people. So when I see that, I try and avoid the clip. I either pick the other team or I just do the money line because they still probably want that team to win. But it was messed up. Colts missed a field goal. Yep. USC missed 3 field goals yesterday, and one of them was like 24 yards. So yeah, it's rigged. There's either magnets or the kicker's just deciding to miss them because there's no way that can happen. A kicker is not going to be that inconsistent. And then if you look in college, look at the punters. These punters are better than the NFL. I found that interesting. But a few people ask me about overs. I do like the over metric because again, it's one. For example, for the Broncos, they haven't gone over all that, but like once or twice all year. So I like the Broncos to go over. And like I said, for the narrative, I like them to win. So that's my official pick. And I'll give you the number. I think it's like 41, might be a little higher. The over is 41 and a half for Denver. I love Denver. Yeah, the Miami game was messed up. They were winning. Yeah, they were winning, and then they just started. They let who were they playing? Get just back. Nets, I think it was, or somebody just get back, just back enough into it to cover, which they do all the time. What's up, Sean? Man, I'm glad to see you. Yeah, we're doing good so far, man. We got the Washington trap. It looks like Eagles. I think we're going to cover. Look like a trap. Patriots are the only one looking a little rough. Saints, obvious trap. So we're having a good game. Lions. We just had a really good. Usually we start off kind of rough and then we get it going. This has been a great 1 o'clock. We're so far cleaning up. I don't think we have any losses yet. The Patriots is literally our worst game. Yeah, the Wolves was stupid. I mean, it was so obvious. And then it's on ESPN, so you know it's going to be a close game. Yeah, MP5. We're going to see what the Patriots do. I can't imagine like a 6-3 victory. I mean, and that'd be rough because I didn't buy the half a point. I think they're going to get it up. I agree with you, Sean. I thought they were going to make them look a little stronger. I think public's going to be a lot on the Jets with the 3.5, thinking, okay, even if they lose, they cover that field goal. So I still feel strong with the Patriots. Yeah. So again, it's hard to love these players, right? I like Luca, I like Dame, I like Sharp, but we know they're all part of the system. So MP5, sorry, Steve. Yeah, Dame. Yeah, maybe he had an off night, but he most likely just on purpose had a bad game, and they do that on purpose. Ravens look shitty today. I said in a video a while back, I think they're going to make them look like a team that just sneaks in the playoffs. That way they can go to the AFC Championship because nobody will expect them. Everyone's going to expect Buffalo or even Cincinnati, who's getting it going. So actually, my Super Bowl predictions are Ravens and Niners. I think the Ravens are going to land somebody that. Well, it's past the trade deadline, but I think they already did trade for like Smith or Raycon Smith. Somebody they traded for someone on defense. I think a few of these injuries are going to clear up, and the Ravens are going to look pretty damn good this year. But yeah, the Blazers was rough because I have some futures on the Blazers. Okay, so that win would have been nice because I need them to be as ahead of the Nuggets as possible, right? So as I even said in the video, I said sometimes the Blazers, maybe I'm picking with a little bit of bias. MP5, I literally almost just said that. I thought about it, and I'm thinking like, what teams could Odell Beckham go to? Niners are kind of out of play now. I don't see it being the Rams. I thought Giants made sense. Go back to the Giants. But I do think Ravens are a top three team that could land him and explain them going to the championship. And then you got Odell Beckham versus Christian McCaffrey. It'll be interesting. I think it's going to be Dallas and San Francisco in the play in the championship. Now you can, in my opinion, one of them could be interchanged for Minnesota, but I think it's going to be San Francisco that wins it. Bills, that would be interesting. If he went to the Bills, I would fade them because I think everybody in everybody would take the Bills with I guess there was a missed field goal. Everybody's going to take the Bills if they have, in my opinion, Odell Beckham Jr. and they got Diggs and they got Josh Allen. They were AFC Championship or almost AFC Championship team last year. if it were not for that ridiculous comeback. So I think they could get Odell Beckham, but I wouldn't pick him if they did. Yep, the power outage. That was the Beyonce. I think the time Beyonce performed. The Harbaugh bros playing each other. So that's interesting, Steven. I thought of that too. I said, what if Baltimore meets up San Francisco? You don't have the Harbaugh there anymore, but it's still the same type vibe. It would be interesting. Oh yeah, Bills are stacked. They got Singletary. Uh, they can explain away beating anybody, which is why they should be winning by like 20 today, neutral or not. But of course they're going to explain away what they want. But yeah, the Bills they're set. I mean, they have a sick team. I think it's going to be them and the Ravens in the AFC Championship. I think the Chiefs might get knocked off early. But yeah, the Super Bowl was interesting. So you wonder if there's going to be revenge. And I know you still brought up to me that Steven, you're the one who brought up to me that I think it was you that you got Michigan with Jim Harbaugh, right? So now we got Jim and John, both with a chance to win a championship. Now I don't think Michigan wins it, but I think it's interesting both brothers are doing good at the same time. Browns running game. Well, if we include quarterbacks, I'll tell you, I've watched the guy enough. I think the Giants. This man is not that good. Now, yeah, Chubb's hard to stop, and they can run. They have a good backup. But I'm sick and tired of watching Daniel Jones, Mister 4.8 on the 40, breaking sacks, running more than Saquon Barkley, and somehow cutting better than him, jumping over people. Like this guy is not that athletic. So yeah, the Browns have a good running game, but I think they're really going overboard with the Giants here. I'm not sure what he's done today, but when they win, it's like this. The man, it's like they're playing Madden, and when you get that edge, the linebacker can't get to you because they're stupid, and then they have a average computer intelligence. That's how these players are acting, diving at feet, going for strips instead of sound tackles. The more each year, the game reminds me more of Madden. The more you watch it, the more it's like watching Madden. If you watch them diving, dropping the interception right into the other player's hands, and it's like you see the camera turn. So it is pretty interesting. Is Madden getting more realistic, or are these guys just, oh, have they just been more video game like than we ever thought? Kyle has been screwed off the Falcons, OC, and lost to Brady. Then he lost Patty. Yeah, so Brady put over Pat Mahomes, in my opinion. Are you talking about Kyle Shanahan? Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking about Kyle Shanahan. And I'm trying to see exactly what you're saying. Are you saying like redemption for Brady because he lost to Pat, or what I thought was Brady was going to put Pat over, and this year he's going to put Jimmy G over in the NFC Championship because that's his backup, right? So Jimmy G sat long enough. He's got that comeback story, the same kind of underdog story Brady has. System player. I thought they were going to have the San Francisco get put over by Tom Brady. Daniel Jones is passing pretty well. Two interceptions. Yeah, he'll do that. Both Jones do that. Him and Mac Jones. They'll put up decent numbers, but then they'll throw interceptions. I'm curious to see his rushing yards. They're probably around 60 by now. But yeah, thank you for whoever just I appreciate everybody that's liking and subscribe. I never ask anybody to, but it just means a lot. It does help, they say. I don't even know if it helps the algorithm. I'm new to this, but they say it does. Eagles on the move. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get blown out by Indy. I think they might win at the buzzer. That's why I like the 7 points. I think a lot of people are going to be going with Eagles to come back strong, and that was my opinion. Oh shit, it's 3:16. I hope it didn't start already, because the first thing I wanted to talk about was the Knicks Suns game. I think we got 30 minutes still though, so hold on. I hope we do. I think we do. I think Knicks is three. If not, we can do some live bets. It's fine. Knicks starts in Thursday. We got Suns -6. You guys want to talk NBA for a second? Yeah, Sean, it's definitely Madden. You're gonna see Josh. You're gonna watch Josh Allen run like it's Madden. Thanks, I appreciate it. I just try and go over the same stuff you do, man. Yeah, if you guys watch my channel, you probably seen Sean's channel. Same stuff, man. He goes into it way deeper as far as like the history of these teams, why they're corrupt, how these players got put in place, all those things. So I would definitely check out Sean's channel. He kind of encouraged me to get going with my stuff, to be quite honest, because he's just speaking the truth. Suns, NBA is too rigged right now. Yeah, but we've been doing good with the NBA, right? The games don't matter, but what happens is there's shenanigans on football Sunday because nobody's watching the NBA. So it might explain why the Knicks blow the Suns off the court away, right? Something to that effect. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But here I go to metrics, and the Suns Knicks is interesting. Eagles scored. Okay, so what are they down by 3 now? Again, that one's going to be a close one. Uh, yeah, 13-10, not bad. Jets punting. We're looking good on the Rams. Looking wow, the Giants are looking bad. Uh, Looking good on the Commanders. It's a shame we didn't take the Falcons because I really wanted to take the Falcons, only because, again, they need to be competitive in that division. Nobody gives a shit about the Bears right now. They just have Fields. So, but we picked good ones. We don't want to pick too many good ones. Yeah, division game, ESPN. I like Suns and Knicks just because, to me, it's got a lot of trap potential. After a loss and they're back at home, I think the psychology of the betters is going to be, hey, okay, Suns get it back. Nobody's expecting them to lose again, so I actually like the Knicks cover here. I picked the Knicks cover. I'm going to do it as my sequence. It's +6. Okay, so that's my official pick. It's a first sequence, $25 or whatever your first unit is. But I do like the Knicks. I agree, MP5. We can't go crazy with NBA, but I think people are underestimating the Knicks this year, just like the Blazers. I think they're like the Wizards. I think they're going to finish above 500, and it's a great trap game. And no one's going to watch it because they're watching the NFL. No problem, Sean. I know you don't, man. He always goes into just like uh, how there's so many channels, and I try my best to help people, but there's so many channels that don't understand it's rigged. So they're giving betting advice. They're giving advice. They're saying, hey, pick this team. People are dropping loads on teams because of somebody's word, and that's what Vegas wants. 6.5, even better. That's good, man. Just in case, you never know. Uh, Always good to get that extra point, half point. But yeah, Sean, like I said, I think we're just doing the same thing. And, I don't want people, if I can make money with the system, then I'm just going to keep putting it out there. And we're doing good right now. We're actually around 820 because we just cleared the board yesterday. Now on USC, we did push. A lot of people did the money line and won. I personally pushed, so I'm running that third leg again. But we just ran the board with basketball and everything else. Yeah, Mac Jones, I think he'll get it done. I think they want him to be like a heel, where the fans don't really like him, but he gets the job done and he gets one over. I think they're still holding on with Mac Jones. I don't. I think they think he's a good enough quarterback to compete in that division. NBA total over. What do you mean by that, Harry? Oh, thanks, Jane Doe. Yeah, I always like to do collabs with people. I've noticed since I've started my channel, a lot of other channels have been, I don't want to say cold to me, but just, they have no interest in a collab. Even when I would just comment on their page, like good stuff, nice breakdowns, they would just block my comments. I think it's simply for the fact they don't want their audience seeing me, which is fine. But it really it makes me a little trepidatious to try doing collabs with people because I would love to do collabs, but I don't know who wants to do one. So if someone wants to do one, I would love to. I love talking to people, and especially people who decode things. But as far as the breakdown people and those kind of people right now, I bet you if I asked them to do a collab, they would ignore me. They again, they just want to grow. They don't really care about channels like me, which is fine. But and I'm not trying to bash other channels. It's just the treatment I've received. I've been channels have talked about my channel for no reason. Uh, you know, uh, Told their viewers not to watch me. All these different things. So I don't I do like other channels, but it makes Sean probably knows he's been through it too. Other channels can be a little bit toxic sometimes. Yep. I think they definitely give people yeah, and I think it's more yeah, instead of us learning together, they're just looking at their views. That's all they care about is views and subscribers and all that stuff. And I just don't understand it because, you know, to me, if you're I had like 80 subscribers and I don't count them. There's a reason I haven't come out and said thank you for we have 500 subscribers. Thank you, we have 800 subscribers. I don't do that because I don't look at it like the other. I really try not to. I still look at myself as someone who watches YouTube, who just happens to make videos. So we're going to be at 1,000 soon, and I greatly appreciate that. But I'm never going to just thank you guys because to me you're not numbers. Okay, that's why I try and remember everybody from Discord to here. This isn't a thing where like, oh, we're at 1,000. We're going to keep growing. Hit that subscribe button. To me, that's the most cringe thing in the world, and you're never gonna hear me do that. There's nothing wrong with asking for it. I just don't. If you like my stuff, you're going to. If you don't, you're gonna watch other stuff. Knicks over 228. So I looked at the over under, Harry. I'm not playing that one at all. Only because I think the Suns are 8-7 on the over, and I think we're at 7-8 for the Knicks on the over. So they're both right about even. From a narrative standpoint, I would think it would probably go under just because I think the Knicks have a underrated defense. The Suns have pretty good defense, and they might spin the story that they're shutting certain guys down. Payne can't get it going, and I would lean towards the under, but I would pick the Knicks +6 before I'd pick that over. I just wouldn't play that over. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, and I don't know if they're hating. I only had one person that I'd say hated on me, and maybe he just didn't understand. But the rest just kind of ignore me, and that's fine. I mean, I agree with Sean. Just if we can find like-minded people, that's why I made the Discord. Then we can just, someone comes in and has alpha from it for a certain game, we all find it out at the same time instead of having to wait, watch a long video just to get one piece of information. But yeah, for the game, it's starting soon. So if you guys wanted to play it, I do like the Knicks +6. I think that's a nice one. And for the NFL games, see, I wanted to go into the ones we're playing, but I also want to make sure we hit the fours. So there's not much to go into with some of these games. I have to be honest. I mean, Commanders, I mean, we got that. I don't see a comeback. Rams the same. Jets might finish close. I mean, we might finish and not cover that one. I'm not sure. So we see the Eagles driving. I think there's a good chance. Okay, so yeah, the Colts just conveniently fumbled. So we might see, like I said, like a 17-13 Eagles win. A 20, maybe it might be 20-13, where it's a push. You never know. I actually bought a half point for that one. But I still think the Colts hold on and cover that 7. But they're making the Eagles, yeah, they're making the Eagles. I bet you if you check the sports book right now, they're close to even odds. So yeah, I know, right? They're watching. They're not yet. Soon they will be though. I swear, Aaron Rodgers watches my channel. Rodgers must watch my channel because like he does the complete opposite of whatever I say he's going to do. Like he must watch my channel and say, okay, I got the script. I'm supposed to do good. Time. Like, I don't know. He's the only guy that I've literally been wrong every single game on. So I'm just not betting him anymore. I'm just going to accept defeat. He can have that gallop down the field laugh that he's been doing. Keep galloping down the field when he wins, and then when he loses, slamming his headset off like he's mad. I'm just going to watch it. I'm not going to bet on the guy. Oh yeah, see, I just don't get that. I I've seen what channels I don't even know how I found the channels, but some channels will go into that how other people just do that. Like they completely try and destroy either channels or even their own audience, and I just don't get it. You have Sun spread. Okay, Jane Doe. I think the Knicks cover, but again, it's not one that I looked at it for. Oh, did they? I wonder if they're trying to just keep the game under, so they're having to get a bunch of turnovers. There's always a reason for that stuff. I'm telling you that now. Uh, Sun spread. Yeah, so I like the Knicks, but again, it's not one absolutely love. On any given day, of course, the Suns can go off. Yeah, maybe like I said, maybe they wanted to trap people, so they did a fumble. People did a bunch of live bets on the Eagles. Bam. That's what I'm saying. It's so hard to explain why these line changes or things of that nature because it could be anything. It could be live bets. It could be a prop bet they're trying to get over. It could be they're trying to keep the game at a certain pace. So it's like Sean says, it's so infiltrated and so rigged that it's almost impossible to know ahead of time. So best we can do is bet the metrics and bet the overall odds. All 3 o'clock games going over. That's a good point, Harry, because I do like the Broncos to go over, and I think and Dallas Vikings. That one's an interesting one. I think more people are expecting an under. I think people think of Dallas and they think of Vikings and they think of, oh, I'm sure it was Steven. I'm not watching it, but I'm sure it was bullshit. I'm hoping by the next stream I can have a side by side so we can actually watch the game. I can mute it or I could just talk in between whatever you guys want. It'll be really cool. But yeah, the Cowboys Vikings is an interesting one. Over under is at 49, and I think people are going to pound that under. So because I think people are going to pound that under, and they've hit the over a little more this year, I do agree. I'm sorry, they hit the under a little more this year. I do agree with, I think it was Harry who said it. I do think at least 2 of the 3 games go over. I'm not sure if Cincinnati does, um, just because Pittsburgh and their situation. Sean knows a lot of Pittsburgh, but I just don't know if they're gonna go over, but I do like the other teams to go over. Um, I haven't looked into the matrix system. I've looked into the Fibonacci. I've looked into the level system where you bet like 1 level, 2 levels, all the way up to 19. I've seen ones where you do like 17 parlays, right? You do like 7 teams and you do them in a parlay, and that affords you to do that 19 times before you have to go up a unit. There are so many ways we can approach this. I have I'd say a simple variation of the system, but it's definitely more complex than the regular Martingale. But I would love to go into the matrix system. And Zion to the Knicks would be interesting. They're doing good with Robinson. He's a young guy, and Randall. But yeah, Zion would fit there better. And Brandon Ingram and players like that actually play better without Zion. Magging up his ass. I don't know. I didn't see what happened. I didn't see what happened. Jane Doe. Oh man, again we're on the opposite side of the fence. So I think Vikings at home, better record, been doing really well. They could push them, I guess, ahead of the Eagles. That would make sense, right? But I think Dallas wins to push the NFC Beast narrative, just like the Commanders had a nice win, a commanding win. So I do like Dallas. I have to be honest. Uh, Over under Lions is 44. Yeah, what was it, 42 and a half or something? Or when we did the live bet, let me see. It's at 36 right now. It looks like 30. I think they just got 36, and I don't know if they got the 2-point conversion or not. They're gonna go for it. I hope they do, even though we have the Lions, because that would push it up to 38, and a touchdown hits the over. But I think that live over hits. Giants. Yep, looks like they scored. Um, that's the thing, Sean. Right? It could be either one. It could be a 34-0, or it could be Steelers get 28 points and win the game. It could be either way. That's what I'm confused about. That's the reason I might not play that game. Just because I'll have to see the spread. I haven't looked at the Cincinnati spread to be quite honest. That's what I'm thinking, Steven. It's like wrestling. When one guy kicks someone's ass one week, usually the next week he gets his ass kicked. If you watch a primetime game, Sixers kick the Bucks ass. The next night the Wolves kick their ass. You'll see it very, very often. Primetime games, a team wins, they'll lose the next one. So and I know they're not primetime, but I have the same logic with the 4 o'clock game that everyone's going to be watching. You're going to see the Vikings, I think, get upset. Cowboys look really strong. Yeah, and I don't know enough about him. I don't know enough. The Steelers are a team. Maybe it's because this year they've been so bad. I've watched the Eagles a little bit. I followed the Jets. I haven't followed the Steelers too much. I think it's because I really think they're going to tank. Sean, I'm curious your opinion. Do you think they're going to tank, or at least get a bottom 5 pick to give Mike Tomlin someone like CJ or a good quarterback? He probably won't land Bryce, but I've been thinking that for a while, that you give Tomlin, and then you got Lovey Smith on the Texans. So you give these coaches that have prestige good quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm not sure, Steven. What did they miss the 2-point conversion? Oh, he missed an extra point. Wow, that's bad. Uh, there could be a couple more scores. Like I said, I think the live over hits, but the Colts are definitely looking good in that game, which is good. For the people who picked the Eagles, maybe you'll get the money line, hopefully. And then for the Giants Lions, yeah, the Lions look like they have it for sure. Yeah, I wonder if they talk about it a lot. Brady talked about it. Rogers talked about it. Now it might be different with the coach. Um, it'd be interesting if he broadcasted. Maybe he'll give us some information. Oh, Colts in the red zone, all right? That's good. That's nice. Well, for me at least. If you pick the Eagles, I guess it's not. But Giants touchdown. Yeah, it looks like they got a touchdown and missed the extra point or something. So I think they're 16 points or 14 points. I think, yeah, Colts will probably put it away, or like I said, at least cover that spread. Steelers, so they have an all-time good record, so 67-38, 66-38. Okay, so there's at 66. Do they keep it at 66? That'd be interesting. I have a hard time with the gematria, to be honest, because it can go both ways. Oh yeah. So actually, I went over this already. Spinach, if I'm saying it right. Spinach. I love Russell to win. I think he's going to get faded, and I don't think his story's over. So I love Russell to win, and I like the over. They haven't hit an over essentially all year. They hit like one or two. That just never holds. So I think a lot of people are going to be taking the under on that game with the logic it's going to be a punt fest, and I think it goes over. I already picked the over and the Broncos. That's just my opinion. Oh, Barkley, yeah, it's not the first time he's done it. So he passed the ball. The announcer for Falcon Bear game is the same one that did the Bills and Vikings, and he could tell. Yep. Okay, so you can. That's the thing, Steven. It's all about getting tells on these announcers. So if you watch wrestling, a certain announcer will say a certain thing when a match is over. You know, if he's going to pin the guy, he'll say like if the guy's getting pinned, they'll say something like, "No, not this way," or "Is this really going to happen?" If they're pinning the guy and they know he's going to kick out, they'll say, "Oh, you know, this might be the end or what's going to happen." They change the way they talk. So what Steven's referring to is the same announcer who announced last week in a different game. He changes his vocal tendencies. He gets more elevated. He gets more excited when certain things happen, which means he's probably going to go ahead and give away some of the script, just like Romo does, just like Aikman and Buck do. Fields tie it up. I think that one becomes a 3 point win for the Falcons. Just my opinion. So it would be a push for anyone. I didn't play it myself, but I think they need the Falcons to win, but Fields to look good. Yeah, Carr. I think they get a new quarterback next year. That's just my opinion. But yeah, they both have good defenses, and I think a lot of people are going to pick the under for that reason. But I think Russell has a really good game, and I do think that the Raiders get a couple touchdowns. The Steelers going if they lost every game. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a shitty division. They have the Browns and they have the kind of in it, but they're shitty. And I think the Ravens are actually better than they're being pushed. I think the Ravens are going to wind up going deep in the playoffs. They're going to act like Cincinnati is the best in the division, in my opinion. But I think Baltimore is going to wind up knocking whoever they play off in the wild card. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if I said Raiders, I meant Broncos. The Broncos have a great defense. The Raiders, they're more again, they're more of an offensive powerhouse when they get it going. They'll have that big play to Devontae Adams. That's really all they got. But yeah, I think they are, Sean. I think that they're the best team. I think they're trying to push Jamar Chase and Cincinnati as a more complete team. But I think we all know on any given play, Lamar can run right for the first down. He just chooses not to. So it's like playing Madden. Have you ever played Madden and you know you can do the same play on someone every play, but you stop doing it because you feel bad? That's basically what I feel like Lamar does. He easily could run, or like in the NBA, you'll see it. A guy could do a post up every play and just posterize the guy, but then he just stops doing it. Jacobs, yeah, they only have a couple guys. That's why I think they get like Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee or a really good receiver in the draft. They've always drafted receivers, and it would just make sense, get fans excited. Jacob Abs, yeah. Oh yeah, Josh Jacobs, yeah. That's what I'm saying. They really only have him, and Waller's injured, so yeah, they get another good receiver. I think they'll be a good team. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like people don't understand Baltimore's defense. They're a good defense. They've been giving up a little bit in the passing game, but they have some injuries. And again, I think we're going to see more vibes of the early 2000s. Not like Ray Lewis, but we're going to see a very feisty defense. You know how the Jets are playing right now, the 49ers. I expect the Ravens defense to start playing that way. And once they start playing like that, oh yeah, well I mean it used to be 3-4. If you're talking like Bart Scott and stuff. They you couldn't run on them. You couldn't run on them teams like them and the Vikings. But I still think they're good enough. They have good lateral quickness. They can get to the quarterback. And again, on offense, when you have Lamar and you have running backs that you can do options with, and Andrews, if you get one receiver like OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. was brought up earlier, easy Super Bowl team, in my opinion. It's weird. They're just running. I think it's on purpose. I really do. I think it's so people don't understand how good they are because they'll run these zone runs and Lamar has a hole and he'll hand the ball off instead of taking it. Or you'll see the running back have a hole and just kind of take his time, not hit the hole. I think you're going to see all their run offense and just suddenly improve. And they'll probably say it's because a couple offensive linemen are back or something of that regard. But yeah, I do like them down the road. Colts got a field goal. Yeah, let's check the scores. So we got a tied game, Bears Falcons, 24-24. I think Falcons win by a field goal. It's my opinion. Ravens looks like they're going to get it done, but barely win. So people think they're a shitty team. Bills, yeah, the Bills is interesting. So I didn't play that one. It looks like there's a good chance they cover that spread though. So that's a good. I mean, anyone who picked the Bills. I know someone earlier said they picked the Browns, and so it's still close. Commanders, again, I mean, that's an as advertised game. The Texans have been terrible. They're going to tank and get Bryce Young. And Patriots, okay, it looks like Patriots have a shot here. Let's see what they do. It's 3rd and 7. It seems like Quinn and Williams is on like every play for the Jets. I used to watch these plays, so I would know every player and their stats. Not I watched back when they had John Abraham and Jonathan Vilma. Now I don't really know the players as much, so I just kind of I think it helps me too. We were like 8-2 on NBA basket, or I'm sorry, college basketball games so far, and I didn't even know. I thought Bronny was in college, and someone's like, "No, he's still in high school." So a lot of times, just picking the metrics helps. So it looks like the Patriots are punting again. Yeah, I think Zapp's better. I think Jones is a little more marketable. He can make certain plays, and he makes mistakes. Don't get me wrong, but I think when he's in, especially when he does like a comeback, the fans get behind him. But Zapp's another story because nobody really heard of him. And then he came out of nowhere and he won. So, or I think he took the Packers to overtime. I think he won the next week. So there is that debate. No, I like the Knicks +6. Someone does like the Suns -6. I was talking to them about it. I think it was Jane Doe. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Suns, not understanding the Knicks are a play-in team this year. Similar to how Portland, not yesterday, but when they're playing Golden State, they get bad odds. I think the same thing's happening with the Knicks. It happens with the Wizards. So I do like the Knicks. That's 60 touchdowns in his college career. Yeah, the guy can't be stopped. What's up, Charlie? I'm glad you made it, man. It's good to see you. Uh, if you missed it, I'll recap everything real quick for you because I know some people just jumped in. 13 and a half. That's a funny over under. I mean, I don't know what I would have taken on the over under, but that's ridiculous. So they're basically saying they think there's going to be maybe a touchdown by one of these teams to end the game, and probably not. But yeah, Lamar could score whenever he wants. Now, there's the argument: can he play at the NFL level, or like with his running, is he only good enough to do what he did in college? But again, we know it's rigged, so I don't see why they can't carry over what he did to college into the NFL. Probably some other times. Yeah, you talking about Lamar or like what when the yeah, we're taking the Broncos -2.5. Oh, the Pats just scored? That's interesting. Um yeah, thanks, Dan. We're doing good, especially with what Sean just said. The Pats just scored. We're covering right now. Let's hope we hold them off and hold that 3.5. That would be nice. I think a lot of people took the Jets. Ravens scored 6-10. Nice. Um, I think a lot of people took the Jets because again, they lost the last game against the Patriots, and I think people just think they're the better team. So between those two things and what I thought was a trap line, 3.5 points, I did like the Patriots. Okay, so a turnover. Yeah, they're still building Wilson as yeah. I guess they scored a touchdown. Defensive. Yeah, Steve. That was about 25%. So I used my metrics, narratives, and then I was kind of on the fence. I told you I grew up a Jets fan, so I said let's go to what has been perfect this year. Let's go to the coin flip guy. So we went to yeah, it's a confirmed touchdown. I mean, unless I can't no overturned. Sorry guys. I'm not watching the game. I guess it was overturned. I guess maybe it was a pass, not a fumble. We'll have to see. Um, but I still think the Patriots pull it off. Again, I think a lot of people pick the Jets because they just think they're the better team. Don't see it. Let me check my ESPN. I'm probably getting the same stuff as you guys. What I'm seeing is he was sacked but no fumble. Back at the Jets 10. So that's what I'm assuming happened. It's pass ball. Okay. Yeah, I think it was just a fumble. Yeah, now it's 4th and 10. They're gonna punt it. So the Patriots are about to get the ball on a punt. That's fine. Um, let's hope it's not 6-3. It'd be nice to win 10-3, but we'll have to see what happens there. And I know somebody asked about the later games. I already went into them, but not so. I feel bad for if you guys have already seen them. Jets are punting, yeah. But for those who haven't, I like the Broncos to cover. I think they're going to push the Russell story a lot. I hope that Steven. That'd be nice. Like I said, I like to win by more than 3. But yeah, Russell story. I think they push. I think he beats Denver, and I think the game goes over. I like Dallas to cover. Personally, I think Dallas covers, and I do think that game goes over as well. And then we got the Bengals Steelers. And for the Bengals Steelers, I actually, looking at this spread, I like the Steelers. There is no reason the Bengals should be given 3.5 points. I didn't know that. So as a sequence, I would actually take the Steelers with that 3.5, 100%. Now they did beat the Bengals the first game, so you wonder if the Bengals are going to come back and plaster them. But that's just a very suspicious line to me. There's no reason it should be 3.5. The public's going to be all over Cincinnati, so I like the Steelers to cover that. I think so, Spinach. That's why I actually bought it up to 7 points. But that's what I thought. I thought they were going to show some kinks in the or chinks in the armor of the Eagles, but not to the effect where they're just falling off. So now you still have the Eagles looking strong because they got the win. Yeah, that'd be interesting. If they win by exactly three, that's what I'm wondering. And then of course people are going to get killed on the spread. Colts, nice job. In the game. Hopefully they pull it off. I got them at the points, but there's a good chance they can win. You never know. Fourth and goal. Thought the Colts would cover. Yeah, sometimes you have to wait. They'll only give you a money line or a spread. Patience really is a virtue with sports betting. Sometimes you can get it right in. Sometimes you have to wait. I know sometimes the books are a pain in the ass. For me, I try and lock him in early, but I also like to wait because again, you'll lock in a pick and then they'll say this guy's injured, and not like baseball. Basketball, you can't just say, well, if the lineup's different, I get my money back. Like they'll do it in baseball for a pitcher, but they won't do it in basketball. So or football. So it's tough, but I usually wait. But when the book's locked, I literally just wait until the second it unlocks. If it doesn't, then that's really suspicious. Yeah, I haven't been watching the game, so it's really funny because people on my Discord will be like, "What the hell? This is going on. That's going on," and I'm trying to keep up because I've basically traded in watching in games for like searching metrics now. So now I'm looking up numbers all the time. So I don't really get to watch the games. I get to watch the prime time game usually because I'm usually done all my stuff. I got all my picks out to everybody. Oh, the Texans got on the board. Good for them. Good for Lovey. I don't think they cover, but good for Lovey. Yeah, they love to do those last minute 2 minute drives. They love to do those. It's so obvious. And even when they don't score, it's obvious. They just want to give that team that last final drive, and on that drive is always when they look pretty good. Panthers just fumbled. Hold on one second. My doggy is trying to get in. I should have let her in. Hold on. Sorry about that. My dog, she doesn't like being alone too long, so she'll kick my door when she wants to leave, and then she'll kick it again when she wants to come back. So I was just getting her. Doggies always come first. Uh, Panthers. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with them. Like I said, the Panthers game is interesting. I didn't want to play them. When you have a team like that, it's kind of like the Steelers. The only reason I took the Steelers is think about it. Here's a perfect example. You got Baltimore playing the Panthers, and they were laying what, like 13. But you got the Bengals playing the Steelers, same type of vibe, and they're lying 3 points. It makes no sense. So that's why I love the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, they're funny. My dog's like a cat. She really is. She like runs around a lot. She's a shepherd, an all black shepherd. So she acts like a cat. She really does. She acts more like a cat than a dog. Lions ball 33. Baltimore minus 6.5. Okay, let me see where's Baltimore at. I think they're not in. Okay, you got some time. So you need a touchdown. Oh, they're only 2 yards out. So you have a good shot there. I think they punched that in. Yeah, now you got first and goal from the inchman. So I think good job. I think you're gonna get that 6.5, Charlie. That looks good. Falcons, like I said, looking like they're gonna have a game-winning field goal here. Nope, sorry. Is it catching? No, you can't see. But it's 27. It's 24-24. Looking like the Falcons are gonna get that 3-point field goal. And Houston, yeah, Houston doesn't have enough time. Eagles. Here we go. Eagles are 4th and 2. That should be interesting. Do they win by one? Do they win by two? Need the Lions touchdown. What's the Lions at? I thought they were up by a good bit. Weren't they? Yeah, they're up. Oh, for the over you're talking about. Yeah, so the Lions get a touchdown, 31-43. What was it, 42 and a half, I think? Oh, they're at the 2-yard line. They should score. I think it was at 42 and a half. I might be wrong. The over under. But yeah, I think we're going to get that. 44 and a half. Okay, so we would need a field goal after that. 7 minutes. Problem is, Giants aren't going to go for a field goal. That's just another thing to keep in mind. Okay, pregame. Yeah, I was talking about live game. I thought somebody told me it was 42 and a half at one point. Or I think, no, I saw it on my own book. It was like 41, 42 and a half. It was when the score was 23 at halftime. It might have been 44. You might be right. But I did like the over. Yeah, if Eagles first and goal, they're going to score. I saw it when it was 4th and 2, so I'm guessing they got the first down. Eagles probably again narrowly win, so they don't look too weak, but at the same time they're the Colts get to cover that spread. And yeah, there's not. I guess. Do you guys want me to go into the Chiefs yet? Want me to go into the Chiefs game? Because I tried to cover the other games. If you have any questions too, just put them in there. I don't care if it's about flat Earth. I like talk. This is more of a chill session. We're going to talk football all day, but if you want a college basketball, anything else, just let me know. I don't like to dictate like, oh, this is exactly what we're going to talk about. But I can go into the Chiefs if people want me to. Uh, I could do that later too. Yeah, Steve, we're definitely taking the Cal. We're definitely taking. I'm taking the Broncos to cover. Um, I don't mind the 2.5. That's fine. Yes, Spinosh. Tell me that's the other game we're taking. Now I could be wrong, but I just like Detroit versus the Ravens scored. Okay, so it looks like they might get that cover. Just like Detroit versus the Giants, why is Detroit only getting 3? And why is uh, Pittsburgh only getting 3.5? So I love Pittsburgh with the 3.5 there. Yeah, Charlie, I think Denver does it. I think Pittsburgh's a trap, so I like Pittsburgh with the 3.5. Uh, Again, Sean's the Pittsburgh guy, and like he said, they can go either way. But 3.5 to me is just a sucker's bet. So Chiefs Chargers. Now a lot of people, yeah, yeah. Detroit's playing like San Francisco or something. They're just moving the ball at will. You'll see it every week. There's always a team that does whatever they want. Did Chicago do something? Oh yeah, 27-24. I thought it would be that. I think that's how the game's going to end. 27-24. Kirk Cousins with the chains and the dancing. I think he loses his chains this week. I think Dak's going to take his chains and dance with them right on the star. Nah, it's in Minnesota, so it's going to be right on that little Viking head. But yeah, what a stupid spread. I got 3.5, but it's a ridiculous spread. The the Cincinnati Bengals are. I think they're probably going to lose. To be quite honest, to keep them close with the Ravens, or if they win, it won't be 3. Yep. Okay. So Sean thinks Pickens look good, and again, um, they're a team that can go either way. But yeah, Dak's snatching that chain. He's taking that chain right off of Kirk Cousins. He's going to show him how to dance properly. He's going to show him how to rock the chains, and Cousins is going to go home with no gold because I just think a lot of people are going to be going ahead and taking Minnesota at home with some points. Eagles. So cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people had the Eagles money line. Or yeah, so Eagles money line. So we all hit. That's kind of cool. It looks like the Eagles are going to hit. Yeah, it hurts, of course, right? And it looks like we're going to get the Indy cover. Dallas. Yeah, I think Dak wins. I think they got to push Dak. Got to push the NFC beast. Dak, Daniel Jones. Yeah, he's doing bad today. We get it, but he's still considered a great quarterback. Now you got here's a story. Heineke. He reminds me of Shane Falco. He's on Washington, not the Redskins, and he's just kind of like a replacement quarterback. He's got energy. So Heineke's a guy to watch. He's going to be very interesting to watch. And then of course, the whole division in general is just ridiculous. Cousins and Taylor have the chains. I think Dak and Zeke are going to be taking those chains real quick. I think they're going to be taking them. Just my opinion. That's a good. So that's another one. Yeah, when you see a team, you'll see with the Warriors a lot in basketball. They'll be down like 12-2 to start the game, and they'll be getting about even odds, right? And you're like, why are they getting even odds? It's because Vegas knows they're going to come right back. So a lot of times it's good to wait on a favorite, wait till they're down a little bit, and then put some money on them. But oh yeah, they're taking them chains, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. Actually, that one I'm excited about just because Cousins kind of annoys me. He's a funny character, but just well, maybe it's because I have OCD and it bothers me. But the most accurate quarterback of all time was Chad Pennington, and I thought he was a great quarterback. And then Cousins came along and started doing these like 5 yard slant routes and these dumps to Dalvin Cook. Breeze came along and started doing these dumps to Jimmy Graham and Reggie Bush, and they both passed Chad Pennington as the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. So I kind of have a little grudge with Cousins, but you've seen how he plays. Like he can play terrible or good. I think he plays terrible today. Eagles at plus money. Good job, man. That's great. I hope they hold. Oh, nice, cool. What are you making? 11 sacks. Holy shit! I've seen like 8 and 9. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I actually am. I'm there. It's the metaverse, man. I'm there in real. I'm in real life. This is just a digitized version of me. Yeah, I grew up a diehard Jets fan too. So I don't know if we're around the same timeline, Charlie. But I was a Pennington Curtis Martin guy. Oh man, I would like to see his son go there. The problem is his son's only like a 3-star recruit. Who punted the Jets? Losing. Let's see. I'm trying to check our scores. So Commanders, yeah, they get Commanders is basically official. Philly money line. If you pick that, that one's still up there. Yeah, Patriots looking looking like they might only win by 3. You like Sanchez? I didn't mind Sanchez. I just thought they did Chad so wrong. The man had a torn rotator cuff. He took them to the AFC divisional rounds, and their kicker screwed them up. If their kicker didn't, and I think it was rigged. If their kicker on Doug Bryan makes those kicks, they go to the AFC Championship. Not saying they would have won, but he did not have a great team. The next year they get rid of him. They bring in Favre. He goes to the Dolphins, who were 1-15 the year before, and takes the Dolphins to a 10-6 record and knocks the Jets out in Week 17. So I think Chad had so much potential. Maybe he didn't sell out. I don't know what it was. Maybe Sanchez too, because they just never got the run they deserved. Chad was so freaking good. I don't understand how people don't like Chad. The touchdown for Hurts, did he get it? Oh, C. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I could probably guess what happened. Like you probably had somebody like dive at his feet, and then he probably juked somebody out and then like ran into the end zone. Yeah, Red Sea. Yeah. So there's like a rule, kind of like practice football. You don't touch the quarterback. Oh yeah, they were pushing Brady. I was hoping for a Chad Brady rivalry, but they really just dumped Chad down, made it Brady Manning, and Chad didn't have much of a chance. Oh, did Fields throw an interception? Gosh. So you guys can argue, is that rigged? He just had, they're driving. People get their hopes up. Pick. So we'll have to see. But that touchdown, I'm going to look at too. Yeah. So here's the thing with the Munich game. Fourth and 16. Yeah, he didn't have the start. Yeah, he had nothing. He I like Chad, but I don't think he came out like he didn't have enough. He had some charisma, but not enough to really be marketable the way that I think they needed him to be, and that's a shame because I love Chad. His players really came out and batted for him too. But yeah, so Munich, here's why the Bucks won, and they talked about it after the game. Now Brady has a win in 4 countries: Mexico, United States, UK, and Germany. Britain and England and Germany. So they were not going. Brady's an ambassador for the league. They're not going to have him go overseas to Munich in their first game there. I think it's maybe one of their first games there, and have him lose. Brady had to win that game, in my opinion. So I was all over the Bucks for that one. And if they're going to rig it too. Yeah, Brady's their guy. Brady's their Steph Curry. Their LeBron. Like so, Steph, in my opinion, replaced LeBron, and then Luca's going to be next. Brady is still there, and Patrick's next. We can already see it. So Brady's going to win those games. Just Patrick might lose a couple coming up. He might lose tonight actually, but he's the next in line. Yeah, he's going to retire. Well, he said he's going to retire at 45. He said this like 10 years ago. He said I'm going to play till I'm 45. So a lot of people think he's going to win this year. It would mean he's 8-3 in the Super Bowl, and his birthday is August 3rd, 8-3. So a lot of people do think that. I have my own theories. It could definitely happen. Yeah, Patrick's going to start winning some. He'll win like 2 and 3 years, and then they'll give like another guy a run. That's what they do. They'll give another guy like a little shot. Now Kansas City hasn't really done it in a long time, so it'd be interesting. Was Brady and so Brady did put out NFTs. Saints win. That looked like a trap to me. I bet you everybody had the Rams. Yep, Saints easy. Yep. Kamara probably ran all over them. Hill probably ran all over them. So Brady put out NFTs, which if you're not sure what the NFT is, let me try and put it like an example of it. You guys have seen like Patreons, right? Where someone's like, "Oh, subscribe here and it's 2.99 and you get this." Well, that's essentially what an NFT is. It's a digital membership. So Brady did NFTs and it was like $100, and if you got his NFT, it was like a digital autograph, and you get all these different things. So I'm guessing he might have been part of FTX. Gosh, yeah, and he might have been part of that. He might have pushed it, and because of what happened, and it sucks because I push crypto hard. I like crypto, and stuff like FTX makes it impossible for me to tell people crypto's not that it's good. The overhit, that's nice. I thought it would, Steve. Watching these games live, especially getting some insight, is really easy to see if they're going with the over or under. Yeah, cup makes the biggest difference in the world. And the announcers, yeah, they gave us the answer. We made $25 because the announcers told us the game was going to go under. So what do? We bet over. Um, they do it all the time. They really try and push a narrative to, like, I think subliminally get in people's head. Yeah, definitely. They know there's going to be halftime bets. That's the thing. They know people are going to be betting at halftime. So going into halftime, why do you think they go over all the issues? Oh, Dallas, they can't stop the run game, or this guy, he's not looking good. When they say stuff like that, then they usually come back and they do the opposite. But you can tell by the way they say it if it's gonna be the opposite or if they're actually saying it. It's hard to explain, you have to listen to it, but certain players like Romo, or I'm sorry, guys like Romo, Aikman, when they say something, you can almost tell they're actually telling you what's gonna happen, whereas others are trying to be more mysterious about it. That's gonna be cool. Romo doing the Cowboys game makes me feel like even more the Cowboys are gonna win. I think he's gonna be pumping up Dak, talking about how this is one of the better Cowboys. It's gonna be a good close game. It's gonna be a fun game to watch, rigged or not. I'm gonna watch it like it's wrestling, like I always do. But yeah, it's going to be a close game that I think Dallas wins. He did. He did. In the first quarter, I went back and checked it. Someone has a video. You guys can YouTube it right now if you want to do that and come back, whatever you want to do. You don't have to. And just look up Romo predicts 24-20. And you hear him in the first quarter say, I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think it's going to be something to the effect of 24-20. At the time, the game was 0-0. So Romo knew that one team was going to get two field goals and the other team was going to get one field goal. That's a ridiculous prediction. So yeah, he gave it away. When somebody told me that, I immediately put $50 on the uh, the Bills to cover because they were the only team that could have got 24. When someone brought it to my attention, the score was 17-20. So I'm like, okay, that 24 is hitting. Third leg on the boys. What's the third leg for? Is it for USC because we pushed and we're doing it again? I would put it on the Cowboys. I like them as a third leg. So I would do the Cowboys minus the 2 for my third leg. Personally, I'm going to do it. Actually, give me a second. So yeah, it's going to be like I said. When I can screen share, it's gonna be much better. If I got out of this, it wouldn't work. 12 sacks. Goodness gracious. Yeah, USC had to win. I knew we were strong on that one. I did push because I didn't do the money line. So that's my third leg. Okay, so yeah, it's 58 in my case. Minus two, $58 for a second sequence. I'm sorry, a third sequence. It's for the USC push. So if you're following my system, I know Steven as a few others are. That's what I'm taking for leg three. Dallas to cover. The Bengals to cover is going to be its own thing. It's just going to be a first leg, and I do like the Broncos to cover as well. So those are my three teams. Oh, okay. Dirty. I'm sorry. I think I saw you in there. I try and remember everybody and the name, the Discord names with their names on uh, YouTube. So NBA, yeah, I went over the NBA. I do like the Knicks. I know the game started, but I went over. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Suns. So you could probably get a live bet in. I like the Knicks. It was +6 when I saw them, so I do like them. I might as well go over the other NBA now. Take care, Sean, man. I always love seeing you. You've been the most kind and supportive to me of all the content creators, so I appreciate that. And again, if you guys like just genuine, honest stuff, then I would definitely check out Sean's channel because he goes into some really cool stuff. All these times, third and 10, weird actually. Even though the Pats sacked him, holding. Yeah, most of our games looks like we cashed. So Eagles won. So anyone who got the money line won. We got the set +7, so we won that. Lions looking good. Commanders final. Saints final. Wow, we're having a good day. It looks like the Patriots is the only one that we might lose, and that's okay because we'll do a second leg. Lions, yeah, the over. It's at I think it was at like 47, wasn't it? It was at 44 and a half. That one went over. Kings. So okay, so here's the thing with the Kings, Charlie. Uh, and it's nothing crazy. It's not like they can't win, but right now they're the best team against the spread. Portland was, but they just lost. So the Kings are something to the effect of, I think, 12-3 against the spread. For that reason, I actually do like the Pistons. Uh, I know it looks kind of like a trap because they're getting so many points, and the Kings are being pushed this year. But I did go ahead and I like the Pistons just because I don't think the Kings continue this going 85-90% against the spread. Now I just took the Pistons to cover, so I'm not sure if you took the Kings straight up or to cover, but I like the Pistons to cover. Then we have some other games. We have Nuggets playing the Mavericks again, and I think Mavericks cover again. Uh, they played them last time. Yeah, Pistons are +10. They keep moving, which makes me a little trepidatious. But I'm gonna stick with I got 9 actually. I got 9.5. I got 9.5. 5.5. That's weird. Oh, see, bottom down. Okay, they might cover that. My main thing is I don't think they're going to cover the official metric, which right now I guess is 10 points. So they can win by 7, or whatever the case may be, and I'll still cover and you'll cover the 5.5. But I think, like I said, I just don't think they cover that official metric. They don't start teams usually 80-90% against the spread. That's why I always pick the Clippers over because they just haven't gone over. They're going to eventually. It's 9.5. That's what I got. And Dallas, I got at 10, and I like Dallas. I think a lot of people are going to be assuming Dallas isn't going to repeat what they just did against the Nuggets. It's going to be a back and forth, and I think they just blow them out again. Really get that home base going. Again, Dallas is one of the worst teams this year against the spread. That doesn't hold. So for the NBA, if you just want to however you want to I like Dallas to cover 10. I like the Pistons. I got them at 9.5, and the Suns are already in. I got them +6. Yeah, so if there's no score, unfortunately, I would lose because there's no draw or anything like that. Alls I have is the Pats +3.5. So I would need the Pats to score a touchdown, which is okay. If they don't, I gotta. Oh, did they? Wow. I mean, we just freaking cleaned up today, didn't we? We won every single game. Nice. All right, cool. You can't ask for much better than that. Yeah, we know it's rigged, so the best we can do is play into it. And there's a lot of angry Rams fans right now. There's a lot of angry Jets fans. There's a lot of angry uh, fans of a lot of teams that shouldn't have won. Um, with the Pats, it looks like the Pats won. It looks like they scored a touchdown, Steve. I think. Let me check. Yeah, that was probably just again the 3.5. I'm sure a lot of people they really scored. I got to make sure it happened. Oh wow. You know what I was about? It's funny. I have not seen. Oh yeah, that was scripted. So that was scripted. So the Jets fans that picked 3.5 that thought they were good, thought they were going to overtime, just got fucked. Yeah, this is why I like doing this live because we can see the examples freaking live, okay? And I'm not mad. I'll take it any day of the week. We won every game. But I try and explain that there's no way this stuff is not rigged. So you're telling me these guys can't score all game only for the punt returner to just easily score a touchdown with 5 seconds left? Yeah, I'm sure did he throw the headset? So the two indications of a good actor is they'll throw the headset and then they'll scream at somebody. They'll that's the coach will do. They'll throw their headset or they'll throw the clipboard right on the ground. Yeah, oh yeah, fake tackle by the of course, yeah. I'm gonna watch that highlight. Again, all of these Eagles can't do anything, but they just come back and win by a point, right? Looks like Ravens are gonna hold on. Giants, just played a great game against the Seahawks. They beat a bunch of good teams. For some reason, they can't get past the Lions. So clipboard, yep, they usually do that. They'll take the clipboard and they'll throw it on the ground. Have you watched Madden? That's literally what the coaches do in Madden. They throw the clipboard on the ground. I'm telling you, these people. I'm starting to think. There's a theory out there. Not to go too deep into the rabbit hole. This guy, his name's Jamal Rashad, and he literally came out and said all these guys are Mach fives, which is basically like robots. And he went into a whole thing. Now, all of his videos got erased. He got arrested for something about like that was separate from that, but I don't think it was. But McCarthy, they all do it. Yeah, you'll see them all throw the clipboard on the ground. And the quarterback thing is they rip off the. You'll see Rogers do it. They rip off the head, the thing. They're all mad. So they rip off the head, their helmet. It's funny to watch. But some of them are better actors than others. Brady is a great actor. What's up, Chris, man? I'm glad. Yeah, we did great today, man. We killed it. I'm glad you're here. Brady's a great actor because he doesn't overact, but he'll do things when he's not on camera. So then they'll say, "Oh, look, Brady's over there smashing this," or "Brady's over there screaming." He doesn't do it like he doesn't wait. Here's an example. If you watched the Commanders versus the Eagles, okay? If you remember the last play of the game, somebody on the Eagles made a mistake. I forget what he did. Okay, maybe he missed a tackle. Maybe he did something. Oh no, it was a defensive foul where he hit the quarterback in the head, and the Commanders were able to score. Then at the end of the game, by himself, he's sitting there kneeling in the middle of the field, sulking, and the camera's right on this guy, like sulking over his mistake. I forget who it is. I'm sure one of you guys knows what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure it was the Eagles game last week, and it was a defensive player. Um, yeah, McCarthy. I have to see the McCarthy one, but yeah, Dallas Vikings. I like Dallas. Oh yeah, I want to go into that. Yeah, that's what I was going into. Yeah, I remember that. Josh Allen does it all the time. Yeah, of course. I'm sure Saturday's acting really mad right now. I could imagine. Just it's his first game as a coach. He's got to really act. But yeah, they'll sit there with the helmet on. I knew the Bucks were going to lose one game because they flashed over to Brady and he had the helmet off and he was actually taking his shit off. And then the camera went to him and immediately stood up and started throwing the ball. And then sure enough, he never got the ball back. So you can kind of see when they're not trying. The other channel, I think Lobo did the channel on their body language. That was a good video. I do appreciate those videos because you can see the body language and you know if a team's going to win or lose. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Yeah, the coin flipper, man. That guy's what is he? 10%. I wonder if that's rigged. Do you think it's rigged where on the inside? So at the end of the year, they can say this coin flipper hit every game. Either way, I'm going with him. But yeah, I think it's. Oh yeah, it's his second game. Okay, I keep forgetting he played last week. Brown's going to cover. Yeah, I actually, I didn't pick the game, but I had them as a potential upset because I thought for when Deshaun Watson returns, they want to have him looking good. Coin flipper's doing good. Yeah, last second. Yeah, of course. These people all sign contracts. I promise you that. Yeah, we have to find the coin flipper. Yeah, I think it might be rigged. Like, what are the odds he knows every? It could be a coincidence, I guess. Panthers, yeah, they covered. Yeah, the Jets could do it. I'm fading him on the division game. I really am. So I got him all the way up to. Yeah, this guy predicted he flipped a coin like 4 months ago, and he flipped it for every game, and then he wrote down who was going to win these Jets games, and he's 10-10-0 right now. He had the Jets losing two in a row after their bye week. He had them beating teams they shouldn't have beat. Yeah, it's funny how I don't know if it is PJ Walker, Neil, but it's funny how PJ Walker can't do anything, but then suddenly he can just throw a 90-yard rocket down the field. I watched him in the XFL. He's a monster. They're treating him like he sucks. This guy's a good quarterback. So I don't understand why they're acting like he sucks. Yeah, it just so he threw a 30-yard touch. But I've seen him throw against the Falcons. He did it. He threw like a 70-yarder. Huh. So he got his hands on an NFL coin. I suppose you could buy one, but it's interesting. I'd have to see like if YouTube's really recommending it. You know, all these things are connected, so it would be interesting. I want to go into the Mach 5s real quick because I know I went into it and someone commented, yeah, Jamal Rashad, all of his stuff got taken down. And he went into basically, he said Jordan, Iverson, Kobe, and Rose were the four guys who refused, and Kyrie he brought up, that refused to sell out. He said the rest of these guys basically are clones. Now, it sounds crazy, but you can see a video of them glitching out. Okay. Draymond Green did it. And it's not like a lag like here if I were to be like stuck like for a second. He was literally stuck like this, not moving a muscle, sitting at a press conference table. And then he's sitting there like this. And as Clay is talking, he goes, yeah, and Draymond's really helped. And he pops up when he hears his name. Shaq did the same thing. Jalen Rose did the same thing. You can see videos of these guys literally freezing up, and it's like they're robots. I don't understand it. It's really Al Roker did it. Yes, he did. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like you can't say it's not there. It's there. If you look at Al Roker, he froze up like a robot. Oh yeah, Chris. They want to throw people off, but I try and look for the end game. So the end game is the playoffs. I think the Bucks get in. I think it's going to be competitive with the Falcons. The reason I have the Saints winning, I'll tell you why. A, it was a trap. B, I have a theory that I'm sticking with that James Winston is going to come back and play the Bucks, his former team. Panthers plus 13 and a half. I hope it hits for you, man. I didn't play that game. Uh, oh, I see the Lions went final nice. Yeah, you're really close. Your only issue is they're going to want to waste the clock. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's over, man. I think they're just going to kneel the ball out. Plus 12 hit. Yeah, I think 13 and a half is just short. Unfortunately, Browns scored. What's their score at? I'd like to see the Browns win because that would make my theory make more sense. Nah, they're not close enough. Okay, they just spoiled the spread. Yeah, Chris, that's the best thing. I try and make tabs for everything, so people can comment on the NBA, on trends. They can comment on NFL, college. If people want to talk politics, philosophy, they can. Whatever people want to talk. I like to make it where it's like I even have a Zen Den session where we can go in there and just fucking smoke together. So to me, we have to make fun of this. We can't be mad because we're gonna lose games too. But we won today. What did I say about the spread? Oh, I think that touchdown was just to spoil the spread at the end. Weren't they like 13-point favorite? What were they? Bills were 8-point favorites. So that touchdown pushed anybody who picked the Eagles. So, and I guarantee, or the Bills, I mean, yeah, Bills. So that game just pushed because of a ridiculous touchdown at the end. I find that very interesting. Patriots Bucks. So many people are saying Bucks, and I'm just like, are they really going to give Brady another fucking ring? Are they really going to push this guy that much more? Isn't it time for him to put over Jimmy G? So that's my theory. But if the Bucks do go, I think they play the Bills, and I'll tell you why. If the Bucks go, yeah, Raiders. Oh, are they starting? Good. That's good for us. If the Bucks happen to go, I like the Bills. I'll tell you why. One, Bill Russell died earlier this year, and I know it's kind of funny, but Bill. I think they're going to honor that. At the same time, I think Brady versus Allen would be an awesome matchup, and he's going against the guy, and he's going against the Bills, Bill Belichick. So I think they like to uh, dude whose mom just scored. Uh, who's a Oh, the dude's mom. I think they're fake moms. I think they're fake families. Some guy will score and they'll be like, "Oh, look at his family," and they'll show some random group of people clapping. I don't even think they're really their family. Maybe they are, but I'm just not sure. Chiefs, I actually Belichick versus Brady. Yeah, so we might get Belichick versus Brady again. And if the Bills win, we do technically get Bill versus Brady, but I just don't know if the Patriots if they can actually pull that off. Maybe if they got Odell Beckham or something, but it'd be really tough, I think, to pull that off with their team. The Chiefs game, I like the Chargers to cover. It's another one that I think they want to keep they want to keep the Chiefs not looking like a complete powerhouse, in my opinion. They want to keep them pretty close to the Bills. It's 5.5. I think a lot of people are going to like that 5.5, thinking we'll win by a touchdown. So my pick is the Chargers cover. I might make it a second leg if Dallas doesn't come through, or if well, Dallas is actually a third leg if Denver doesn't come through, or if one of my overs doesn't come through. But yeah, for now, I'm definitely going with the Chargers to cover. 33-3. Yeah, that's more reason for him to play the Bills. It'd be interesting if he played them. Yeah, Pats. I mean, they have a good defense. They could be pushed as like the Jets. They're pushing the Jets defense. As a team that you can't really score on. So I can see them pushing the Pats defense. I just don't know if they get Mac Jones to the Super Bowl this year. That's a big stretch. I think him playing Jimmy G makes more sense. Now, that's the NFC Championship, but for the AFC side, I'm still a little confused. It could be the Patriots. I think the Seahawks are going to start losing out. I do. I think that they were kind of like a red herring. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think the Commanders wind up beating them out because of the NFC Beast. Miami, yeah, I think they could be like a 7 seed. It's going to be them or the Broncos. Today's game is going to really tell us a lot about the Broncos. Niners and Vikings are basically my NFC Championship picks. Only the Vikings are interchangeable, in my opinion, with the Cowboys. So I think the Niners definitely represent the NFC Championship. Eagles, Bucks. I think Bucks versus Jimmy, but that could definitely happen. Eagles are gonna, they're getting out of the first round. I think they're gonna be a somewhat of a threat. So I could see Eagles Bucks. I would lean Eagles Niners though. I think that'd be a much better story. I think people want to see Jimmy G versus Tom Brady, and you got Christian McCaffrey, healthy Debo. They got a good team. I think the Niners would be nice to watch, but that's just my opinion. Tomorrow's game, of course, I can go into tomorrow because I haven't looked into it too much. Yeah, Jimmy gets treated like some kind of royalty, doesn't he? Did you see the clip where he was sitting there with Christian McCaffrey and who was the other guy? George Kittle, and the cheerleaders came up and they were like fanning over him, but they didn't know who the other two were. It was so obviously scripted, but they just ran up to him like he was like a god, and they were like kissing his hand and shit. So yeah, I think Jimmy G's definitely. He speaks well. He's doing everything that he needs to do. He's a good-looking guy. Yeah, they want good-looking guys. I mean, it sounds funny, but they do. They want a good-looking guy. It's just like, yeah, Steve, we had a perfect day. I'm glad you got the Eagles money line. We kind of both hit that, which is cool. But yeah, I'm glad you hit that one. But yeah, Jimmy, they don't call it the face of the league for no reason. Favre is considered decent looking. Brady, they always try and have a decent looking guy as the face. If you notice, Mahomes, it's not an accident. That's why. No offense. That's why Matt Ryan's never going to be the face. It's just they want. It's just like wrestling. You know how long it took them to get Stone Cold over because they didn't think he had the right face. Booker's doing good. That's not great for us. Hopefully, Payne does bad. And Aiton's a big. If Aiton's getting 20 and 10, we're in trouble. Up 6. All right, it's early. Maybe we don't get that one. Like I said, I think the Knicks will make it interesting, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I think the next face is going to be Jimmy and Patrick Mahomes for their divisions. Rodgers is just a red herring. I don't think he gets in the playoffs. Some people might think he does. I'm just tired of that bum. I can't wait to see him lose. Yeah, that game's gonna. I hope we'll know by the second quarter. If the Suns drop by like 15, that's not good. If it's 8 to 10 in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, we can easily make a nice little run. So yeah, so Booker's looks like he's doing good, but you're saying he's 2 for 7, which isn't great. So we'll watch the trends. Hopefully Jalen Brunson gets going. Randall's the guy that has to really get going for the Knicks to win. When Randall's going, they're really good. What happened with the Jets Pats? 8-4-4. He's doing pretty good. Did you pick the 3.5? Checkerboard. It's interesting when teams change their colors or like change their jerseys. Something usually happens. Come here, come here. Sometimes commotion bothers her. Sorry. It's okay. Yeah, I'll get you a treat in a minute. Good girl. Sorry. She gets really. like I said, like I got this thing going here, loud sounds, things like that. So when I'm doing my sales, she's always like running around, getting all freaked out. But anyway, yeah, I think black and white interesting. I'm gonna go with it. Like I said, the Steelers I like to cover. I think they're playing already. I do think it's Tomlin's first losing season. Yeah. I just think they cover this game. Yes, I'm on the Cowboys. I actually have them as a late, like a third sequence because the USC did push for us. So I'm playing the Cowboys as a third leg. Yes, I think the Broncos. I love the Broncos. For a different reason, but that's also a great reason. I think Russell gets his redemption. I really do, and I think he gets. They continue the playoff push. Steelers, I like them. I think they cover. For me, there's no reason they wouldn't, just because 3.5 is completely unacceptable in my opinion. It's completely unacceptable for them to only be getting 3.5. They should be getting like a touchdown. I just don't understand that. So I like the fading the Bengals, taking the Steelers there. Yep, I'm riding with Russ. He let me down last week, but we made that back easily. It was a fourth leg loss, by the way. So, oh, good. So Sutton's doing well. That's good. Yeah, Sutton's the main guy. Russell's been missing him all year too. So hopefully he gets it going and starts finding him because he's running good routes. He's getting open. There's no reason Russ shouldn't be finding him. So if they show Russ, finding Sutton and looking good in the pocket, I'm very confident about this game. I haven't checked the scores yet, to be honest, so we could be getting crushed. But yeah, we hit every 1 o'clock game. I'll go over them if you just checked in. It looks like the Knicks are down 8 or something, which you know that is what it is. I think they'll come back. But yeah, we had the Packers, of course. So this is what happens when we have a Sunday without Aaron Rodgers. We win every game. When we have a Sunday without Aaron Rodgers, we go 6-0. Commanders won, Colts covered, Pats covered, Saints covered, Lions covered, Lions overhit. Yeah, 7-0. Bronco, you're saying okay? It's funny because we are 7-0 too. So that's kind of funny that Broncos are 7-0. But yeah, we're 7-0 on our picks, and there's 300. Did they mention it? That's the question. Chase is out, so I'm pretty sure the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to cover. That's good to see the Broncos got an early touchdown. Um, it helps the over, and obviously it helps the. I'm gonna guess, was it Dolchich? I'm gonna guess Dolchich. One second. I think she's hungry now. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I was just making sure she had food. She was looking. She was getting hungry. Um, I want to know who caught the. Oh, Hinton. Okay. Oh, did you have a prop? The scratch man. Did you have a prop on somebody else? Either way, I think he might throw another touchdown today. It makes sense that he goes is under review. Okay, we'll have to see what happens. How close were they to the end zone? I suppose I could check myself. Um, oh, okay, they're right there. Okay, so they're calling it. Oh, okay, so it was a long throw. It looks okay. They were at the one. Okay, we'll see what happens. I think they'll get it in if they're at the one. The 4 yards. We'll, I think they'll pop it in. But the over's looking good. Denver's looking good. Like I said, I like the Chargers to cover tonight. And for basketball, there is another one I liked. Oh, you had the Jets. Yeah, I just feel like and that punt return's rough, man. I just felt like they were setting it up because a lot of people were going to like the Jets with those points, and the Patriots have been spoiling a lot this year. But that's rough. That's the reason I'll do parlays sometimes, but nothing worse than losing a parlay where you hit like six of them and then you lose the last one, or you lose the one that you think you should win definitely. Yeah, I have to look into the symbolism of that. So a few guys from Virginia got shot, I think, right? And now they're playing. Yeah, I see at least 70% on the Jets. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. You really have to. That's the hard part. You have to literally not think logically. You have to think, this is so good. This game's going to win, and you got to pick the opposite. Like with the Lions. Everybody's going to look at that and pick the Giants, but we have to be cognizant that they're traps and go ahead and take the Lions. Yeah, the ones that seem the safest: the Lions, the Jets, the Saints. Uh, I think a lot of them seem quote obvious to people, and then that's why. And there'll be weeks where the public gets paid out. That way, it doesn't look too obvious. But this week was a week where every trap happened to hit. It seems like, so we did really good. And again, that's why we're going to do good in the long run, because in the long run, the traps are going to beat out the public. It's just going to happen. So we got Denver who scored. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could get like something on the screen. By my next live stream, it looks like I will be able to. Yeah, it was Murray that scored the touchdown. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people. So we'll lose a first leg, and we'll have that like, oh, let's do a second leg on this game coming up in 5 minutes. But what I like to do is say the Broncos lost, or not even the Broncos. Say the Broncos don't go over today, and they move to 2-9. I would wait till next week and then put a second or third leg on them to cover again. Yeah, guys, tell me what Romo's saying. I'm curious. Romo literally gives away the game. He will tell you the freaking underpants of the right guard. I mean, that guy knows everything. But I agree. Chasing after a loss really can get you in trouble. Sometimes I'll play the later games in the same day, like Dallas, but only if I really think that they're going to win. Parsons sack fumble, nice. Yeah. Did Romo say anything interesting like, look at Parsons here? Or like, let's see if they bring pressure. I bet you he did. And then they brought Parsons. Now Parsons is crazy. Now when he was going off against the Giants, they could not stop him. Yeah, Parsons the one taking the chain. He's the one who sacked him, huh? You got it right. Parsons took the chain, and he's going to give it to Dak. And I think the Cowboys win. I think too much money's on the Vikings at home here in an even game where people think the Vikings are a much better team. Just my opinion. Cowboys have a good mismatch advantage. Yeah, I think that. So LA in general, I think they're giving up on. I think they're moving to San Francisco and other markets, but I do think they're going to push the Chargers more than they push the Rams. So this year, I think the Chargers will have some upsets. They're definitely going to be in the hunt. I'm not sure they get in the playoffs, only because I have a theory with the Broncos, but we'll have to see. If the Broncos lose like in the next couple games, then I have the Chargers getting in. Yeah, they might have been trying to just trick people to take the Vikings. Hey, Zeke's out. People take the Vikings, and now Zeke's in. Kind of the same as they ruled Jamar Chase out at the last minute. Yeah, I didn't see the punt return. I just heard that he basically had a red sea, and everybody just got out of his way. So I've seen it a million times, but I'll watch it. Um, the reaction videos would be fun, reacting to this shit. Let me check it out right now. I wish you guys could. Again, I wish I could put it on the screen, but if I go to check it out, it's going to take me out of it. I'm sure somebody already has it. New England punt return. Oops, I got Nebraska. I'm curious if it's already up here. 11 years ago they did it. It might not be up yet, but I'm sure I can find it. Here it is. This is from Jackson Kruger Sports, breaking down the wild game-winning return touchdown for the New England Patriots. Yes, yeah. Sorry, it's bad quality. I know you guys can't really see it too well. Here's the punt. So a little fake cut. So this is my first time seeing this. Oh no. No way. So this guy thinks it's real. Right at his feet. Sorry, I wanted to show you guys that because I know a lot of you asked me to go to it. But yeah, that was ridiculous. They could have pushed him out of bounds many times. He was going towards the sideline, and instead of forcing him out, they just all ran with him. And then yeah, that was ridiculous. But I just wanted to watch it with you guys because I know a few of you were saying that it was just that ridiculous, and it was. So this guy was explaining why the good blocking, quote, good blocking, created this play. I disagree with him. I think it was rigged, but yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. So tomorrow's game, I'm not too sure on yet. I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna put a video on it. I haven't looked completely into the metrics. It does look like, let's see, Bengals moving the ball. Cowboys are up 3-0. Okay. So my gut tells me I'm leaning Niners because I think they want to establish them as a strong team, especially I think they just lost to like or they had a very close game. I know they beat the Rams. Yeah, that's a good point too. You know, there's a good chance that if you're close to field goal range and you don't want the clock to run out, you'd run out of bounds. So almost it does seem scripted that he had to get that touchdown. A money line is locked with the inflate. Yeah, so it's at 8.5. I think a lot of people are going to be taking the Cardinals at home, thinking, okay, they're at home. They're a better team. They're not a better team. They're a good team. They're not a trash team. Why are they getting 8.5? And it makes me wonder why the Steelers are only getting 3.5. So I lean line Niners even with that spread. I'll have to see how much it moves to. If it moves to like 10, then there's a chance they win by 9. But as it stands now, I'd go Niners. And for tonight's game, as I said, I like the Chargers. For basketball, I like the Mavs to cover. Right now, it's at 10. I like the Pistons to cover. They're getting 9. The money line's 375. Yeah, and you can always do a parlay. Like last night, for example, we had Wolves and Clippers, and I didn't want to do the Wolves because the spread moved from 1 to 4, and of course they only won by 3. So instead, we just did the Wolves Clippers money line, and it hit for us. So if you feel better doing, say, I don't know, Niners money line with anything else, maybe with the Mavs to cover or something of that effect, or I think the Pistons cover. I think that would be better. Only because with obviously with minus 375, you're never going to be able to get a unit. You're gonna have to pay so much. So you're paying like $100 to get your 25. So should you wait? I don't know. I'm not watching the game. They're saying the Broncos are struggling in the red zone, or no, it's the Cowboys, and they got a field goal. Uh, they got an early touchdown. I feel like it's a kind of a hedge because if you pick the over, I feel like the only chance the over is going to kind of hit is if the Raiders start going. So you kind of are safe on both ends. I feel like I would do the Broncos over if it's around the same number. It might have moved up. That's the problem. I think it was at 41.5. Okay. Oh, so it's actually moved down a little bit. I would go ahead and take it like the Lions Giants. I think they're starting these teams off like again, like they always are, a punt fest. They got the touchdown, but just maybe they're not moving like they should be. And at halftime, it might be something like 14-3, 14-10, a little higher than people are expecting. Or it might be lower, but they come back in the second half. But again, my main metric is Broncos are not going to finish 10% on the over. It just doesn't happen. You can wait. 40.5 is a good number, though. I wouldn't, I think locking it in now would be good. There's a chance, yeah, it drops to like 36 if there's no scores. But if you get one score, you're going to have to be picking 45.5. So I would take it now. I already took it pregame, but that's just my opinion. Again, I'm not watching the game. I don't know how they're driving. It looks like there's a good chance it's going to be 7-7 in a minute. So, I mean, now they might hold them to a field goal. Yeah, I would. That's a good pick. I got 41. 40.5 is good. 41, you only need 27-14, something to that effect. I think it can happen easily. 24-20, whatever, 21-20. So any of those will hit. Yeah, Kelsey probably opened the hole, I'm sure. Interesting. I thought the Cowboys defense was going to come out pretty good. But as I said, I liked the over on that game because I think a lot of people, yeah, they don't like Jerry Jones at all. It's the same uh, with Snyder. But I do think that the the Broncos wind up going over. Kyrie Irving is interesting. So apparently he made an apology. He like went to the Jewish community. He did all these different things. So I'm wondering if he paid his penance. I'm staying away from tonight's game, but one or two things is going to happen. He's going to look awesome because he went back there and he kissed the ring and did whatever he had to do. He took his vax, did whatever they told him to do, made things right. Or he's going to look terrible because he hasn't done anything they told him to do, and they want to shame him. So, yeah, Stafford with a fake concussion. You notice now they have like the neurosurgeons on the field. The second a player gets touched, they're all there examining the screens like they're freaking on Grey's Anatomy or something. I find that funny. Like some guy goes down and they're like, "Oh, here come the neurosurgeons," and they come sprinting in to look at the play. But yeah, I think Kyrie Irving is. I'm not playing the game. To me, I have to see what he does tonight, and then I'm going to be betting on them heavily going forward, whether it's fading them or picking them. I think that sounds like now I don't know I didn't hear the context. Sounds like Diggs, and he did this against the Giants against his brother. Sounds like Diggs might make a big play, maybe a late interception in the game, something of that effect. I don't know. Kyrie's either, like I said, he either kissed the ring and made things right, and they said, okay, you can be good again, or he didn't, and they said, okay, you're going to go out there and look like Aaron Rodgers. I have no idea. Jacobs, yeah, he should score a touchdown for sure. It'll probably be 7-7. I think they were inside the red zone last I checked. So I think 27-yard line is last I. At the end of the first, I might be behind. But yeah, I think Kyrie, one or two things, and we're going to know right away. He's either going to come out looking great, they'll give him good trade value, and he looks awesome. Yeah, I think a fourth quarter pick for Cousins makes sense on an out route, maybe. Tries a little out route to Diggs or to Jefferson, and Diggs jumps it. I can see that happening for sure. Or Parsons creates pressure, Diggs gets it. The fact that he brought up a cornerback specifically makes me think he's going to get an interception. And he's always trading jerseys with other people at the end of the games. I find that interesting. We'll see if he does that today. I know they all do it, but he always does it. Uh, Jacobs, yeah, he'll score. But Kyrie, yeah, I don't know. He's either going to go off or he's going to look like a bum. And I don't know which one it's going to be. I mean, I could say he's going to look like a bum, but I think that'd be too easy. So I'll look at the spread here. Looks like Minnesota is going to make it 7-3. So that over is probably going to hit, like I said. And for the NBA, and I think the Cowboys will end up scoring too. That one's going to be a high scoring game. All right, Knicks are within two at halftime, so that's not bad. We got the Pistons. Don't forget them. I got them plus 9.5. Nets Grizzlies minus 7.5. You know what? If you can, I would lock that in. I think you might. With Diggs, it wouldn't hurt. I'm going Nets. Why the hell are they getting 7.5 when they couldn't beat the Kings? I don't care if they have Kyrie. So I think everybody is going to be taking the Grizzlies. And I have a feeling Kyrie sold out, or I don't want to say sold out. I mean, gosh, they probably threatened his life. Let's say caved. I think Kyrie caved, or they got him. The 7.5 makes no fucking sense. Yeah, okay, so it'll be 3-3. So maybe it will be a lower scoring game, but hopefully we hit the 49. I thought the 49 was kind of high, where a lot of people were going to be pounding the under. But I'm officially going with the Nets. Who's that? The Cowboys defense. I thought they look pretty good. I mean, when Parsons is in, usually they're pretty good. They get some pressure. I know, but they'll find a reason. I promise you. They'll have Royce O'Neal shut them down. They do this shit all the time. Theoretically, there's no. And even if Ja gets 40, I think that's going to be the story. Now they do have JJ Jr. back, which makes a difference. But that's my point. With those guys against Nets just getting Kyrie back, I don't understand why the Grizzlies would be favorites. So I do like the Nets to cover that spread. So Neil, so that's a good point. Those are the things I pay attention to. Why did they move the ball slowly on that drive? Oh, Ja's out. Then why are they so? Gosh, now I'm thinking. I don't care. I'm sticking with the Nets. Um, so yeah, Sixers they'll be back this year. They'll be fine. They're winning the championship in my opinion. Regarding the Vikings, why did they move the ball slow? Was it because that's their pace? Do they always move the ball slow, or was it maybe to make the under in the first quarter hit, or the under in general? All these different things. Uh, yeah, they'll move the ball down the field slowly, but they'll only get three. Or they'll get a couple first downs, but then they'll take a sack and it becomes a punt fest. So at those type of games, you can see really early. Oh, where the Raiders miss a field goal. With those games, you can see really early what they're doing. Now they will switch it up, but if you're seeing a really slow pace or a fast pace, and then it changes, a lot of times it's changing for a reason. So if it's really slow and then it goes fast, there's a good chance it's gonna go over. That's just what I've noticed. What did the Raiders do? Miss like a 10 yarder? Oh, a 46 yard. Okay. That would have helped our over, but I'd prefer the Broncos anyway because I have them on a second leg. So okay, fast and slow, slow. And we got yeah. There's still 12 minutes in the second. We'll have to see what Denver does. If Denver has if we see like back to back punts in these next two drives, the over's not looking great. But if we see Denver kind of moving the ball, then I think there's a good chance because the Raiders, don't forget, a lot of games this year out of nowhere, even though they lost, it was in losing efforts. The Raiders have played, they scored like 14, 21 points in the third, fourth quarter. They come back, they've lost, but when they've scored in flurries. So again, I'd much prefer the Broncos just win, but of course we want to get the over as well. So I think, yeah, 36. Okay, so that's better. I know you got in at 40. Uh, it can go either way. Like I said, if they made the field goal, it would have went to 45, something like that, 43. But I think it goes over. I do. Just because I think everyone's gonna be pounding the under, and I think the second half is. I know, right? Denver actually got a touchdown, and it wasn't like a weird one. It was one they actually earned. That is kind of weird. But yeah, the Raiders are definitely gonna get a couple points on the board. I think Russ breaks the record tonight. Like I said, it's freaking Vegas. John Madden's team. Yeah, the over unders I only play for the metrics. I don't play them all the time. I played the Lions Giants when you brought it up because it seemed like that they were trying to push the under, and of course the over hit. So that just made sense to me. Virginia. So I got to look into college basketball. I'm currently like 8-2. and I know nothing about the teams. Alls I've been doing is fading the teams that have not lost against the spread and taking the teams that have won against the spread. So I have a lot of games I could give you, but there's probably a lot of money on the under. I think the over is going to wind up hitting. I do. I think it's going to start off slow and then it'll wind up. Yeah, I think Diggs gets a pick, um, especially since Romo brought him up. I think he has to look good against Jefferson. Jefferson will get his, but Diggs will get his too. And then Virginia, they're the ones who had people shot, right? So you know that one's going to be interesting. I'm going to look into the. I'm trying to look into basketball. It's just hard to look into all the different all the different sports. I have a bunch of outstanding basketball teams I want to pick. Uh, just to give you a couple of them, it's just like I said, I have so many different games I play. I like Arizona State. I like these are all teams I like to take. Villanova, East Washington, North Carolina. This is all to cover. Yale, Charlotte, Northwestern State. I'm fading. Uh, so again, I like to fade Yale, Northwestern State, and Charlotte, and I like to take Nova, UNC, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona State. Charlotte lost to Mass, and I was going to fade them. Damn it! I don't know if they I don't know if they cover. They probably didn't cover the spread either. So Charlotte was undefeated against the spread. I bet you that loss made sure that they are not undefeated against the spread. So early in the basketball season, it's great because when you have a team 5-0 against the spread, you just fade them a couple times. Eventually, they're not going to go undefeated against the spread. Same thing with the under. If a team's 0-4 against the spread, you take them, they cover. Yep, the numbers definitely play a role. You see them all the time. The sixes, 17. I see 3-1-4 a lot. Yeah, I see the Miami one. So they covered Toronto. Now I think they have the same injuries from what I read. Nobody's playing. That they said Jimmy's missing the road trip. Duncan's not playing. So it's really the same type of game as, huh? It's the same type of game as yes, the Raptors, in my opinion. But this time, I think Cleveland might do it. But I'm staying away from them. We already got them to cover a spread, so I'm just gonna stay away from them until I get a more favorable game. The interesting thing about so attached to codes. If you go to my first ever video made, it was about why Curry won the finals, and I swear it was on accident. It wasn't on purpose. I found the number 413 about 9 million times. You know, he shot 41.3%. He they won by 13 points. They won in 4 games. There were so many 413s. It was ridiculous. So if you check out my video, I think you'll like that one. It's really the only one I go in deep into the numerology. I just don't get it. Yeah, I went into that too. Fourth title in 13 years. I don't get why they use that number so much. That was when Kobe's last game was, obviously. I think it's because it's the opposite of pi. Pi is 314. So maybe they do the opposite. Kobe, yeah, Kobe and Curry and that 413 are so deeply connected. I don't get it. And so Aaron Judge, I did a video on Aaron Judge. There were so many of them coming up. When he hit his tying home run, his batting average was 314. Home run in gematria is 413. He hit it that night when Coolio died to tie it. Their record went to 95 and 59. And then when he hit his 62nd, they were 99 and 62. And his number's 99. And his batting average is 314. So these numbers are not a coincidence. I am doing everything in my power to find the truth about Kobe. I have 3 videos on him. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I have 3 videos on Kobe and what I believe happened to him and what I believe he's trying to do. I show basically his last game in one of my videos. I show him attending a game in the other video. I think he faked his death. I think he knew they were after him. I go into it in my videos, and I might do another one. I haven't done a good Kobe video in a while. You guys can let me know if you agree with this, because I feel like we all have some kind of universal connection. So let's talk about Kobe for a second. I hope he wasn't. I hope he faked it. But you could be right. You could definitely be right. Let's talk about Kobe. I was never a Kobe fan. Okay, it's not that I didn't like him. I just liked Vince Carter. I liked Tracy McGrady. I liked Iverson. I liked Kidd. I liked different players. I just liked the way they played. But when some players died, and I felt bad. I was like, oh, that when Kobe died, I got a sickening feeling in my stomach, like something was wrong. Okay, before I looked anything up, just because the news report was like Kobe dead at 41. And I'm like, "What? Like, no, this can't be." I think we all felt that way, and it's because it's Kobe. But the more I looked into it, I started to get sick because I think they did go after him. His last videos was him going into, his last video was a motivational video, and then in my video, my second one with Luca in it, you can see how he embraces Luca and just kind of shoes off LeBron. He treats Luca differently, and I don't know if he got sacrificed for Luca. I don't know how this stuff works. We're all learning it together, but something happened. The last game you saw him at, he was with Luca, and what he said to him. This isn't in my video, but you can find it. He says, "Hey man, how's your health?" He goes, "Oh, it's going good, man. How are you doing?" He says, "I'm doing good." He said, "Just stay safe." He says, "I love what you're doing, but I wish you were doing it in different shoes." And Luca laughed. Now you guys know about Mambasita. I think that's why they went after him. I think he knew what they were doing with the shoes, wanted to do a different approach that wasn't as cruel to the children, the traffic, exactly, all that stuff. He's been in. Don't forget, this guy was this guy was born what in Italy, I think, or he played in Italy. He was all over. Good job, Zeke. I love seeing that. The shoes, exactly. Soles. Yep, there's a nice double meaning. He wanted to take on Nike, I hear, and he wanted to take on Disney. I'm hoping he's in hiding. Um, they don't like him, obviously. His memorial was a joke. They gave Bob Saget more fucking uh, time than Kobe. Yeah, didn't a pharmaceutical wasn't he supposed to testify because a pharmaceutical company was putting shit in his vitamins or something, and he died like a couple days before he testified. So you think Kobe's part of it? Oh, that would suck. I feel like I have a good read on people, and I didn't think Kobe was part of it. Allen Iverson, I didn't think was part of it. The crash photo on A24 Black Mama Day. That's what I noticed too. It seems like they go after the good ones with the rape thing or some kind of thing like that. Um, Kings and Nets. I like the Nets. I don't know why they're getting 7.5. It looks like a trap. So yeah, they always do a smear campaign. So I like the Nets minus a 7.5. I actually fading the Kings because they right now they're the best team against the spread. So I'm going with I think it's the Pistons +9. I just think the Kings eventually start losing some against the spread. Oh, I didn't know he did that workout. Here's something interesting about Kobe. Yeah, she might. That's the hard thing. It's like we'll never know everything. But one thing interesting about Kobe is we know how Tatum for the Celtics says he's the next Kobe. I'm gonna get you in 1 second, Ant. Um, he says he's the next Kobe. So he's showing a video, and he made the video just like I'm making this video, right? So he knows the time. He knows exactly what time it is. And at the 3:14 mark is when he starts showing off his Kobe shoe collection, saying he's going to be the next Kobe. So it's weird that 3:14 comes up a lot. 666 comes up a lot. I've seen 75 and 57 come up plenty of time. I don't know them, but it would be good in the Discord or something, just go back and forth with these numbers and see what's going on. Yeah, that was basically it. I just think the numbers come up a lot, and it's not a coincidence. And I like the Nets to cover. I already had the Knicks. I don't know if you were able to catch that one, but I went with the Knicks +6 earlier in the stream. Right now they're down by 4. You could probably live bet it. Exactly. And yeah, they were 7-5 in their 75th anniversary. Now is the 57th Super Bowl. Uh, the whole thing just it all comes together, and there's no way it's a coincidence. I didn't know Kobe's dad played for the Warriors, but I do know Kobe played for Philadelphia, or he lived in Philadelphia. It was like his second home. And the Philadelphia Warriors won 76 years ago. Now we're in the 76th season. I think the 76ers win. Makes sense to me. So, oh, it's good to see you guys. And this is great. Yeah, 81 pops up all the time because that's the number he got. The inverse is 18, which is Peyton Manning. Peyton and Kobe have some kind of, I think, connection. I could be wrong. I feel like every sport has their guy, and Peyton's more like Kobe, and LeBron's more like Brady. I know they play nothing alike, but it just makes sense to me. 315, 15. Yeah. There's so many repetitive numbers. It's crazy. But and so who I like is I do like the Mavericks to cover. I like them to cover. I think people are going to be all over the Nuggets with the 10 just because the Mavericks have been kind of off this year. So I do like the Mavericks to cover. I do like the Nets to cover, and I like the Pistons to cover. Nets. I like the Chargers to cover, to be quite honest. I know nothing about college ball, but what I will do is I will take a second and look at rankings real quick. So I'm not picking all these games just because I'm picking about half of them, but these are just teams, and I don't even know who's playing. Okay, but there are teams that are. So Xavier is 4-0 against the spread, so I'm going to be fading them in the next game. Okay, Baylor 4-0 against the spread. I'm going to be fading them in the next game. If any of these teams play tonight, go ahead and play. No problem. Utah, if they play tonight, take them to cover the spread. If Boise State plays tonight, take them to cover the spread. If Mississippi State plays tonight, take them to cover the spread. Oklahoma, take them. I'm just Minnesota, take them. These are all teams that have not won against the spread this year, and you're going to split them at the worst. Play Boise, take Boise, perfect. I'm going to take them too. I have a hard time finding who's playing because there's so many of them. So we're taking Boise. I'm going to write that down because we're going to be taking the same teams. Of course, I don't have a fucking pen. Wyoming, where are they at? Let's see. I think I saw Wyoming. I think they were on my list. Um, Wyoming is who's Wyoming playing? Baylor. I would so I like Baylor and Boise. No, I'm fading Baylor. I'm sorry. I like fade. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yes, I like fading Baylor and taking Boise. Okay. So whoever Baylor's playing, I like that them to win, and I like Boise to win. I'm trying to find Wyoming. Oh yeah, Wyoming. Yeah, 0-3 against the spread. Take Wyoming. I think they cover the spread. And again, if they don't, one of these teams is going to cover the spread. UCLA. Yeah, I think people are going to be all. I would take UCLA. All right. Yeah, I would lock in Wyoming. 0-3. I think they improved that. And if they don't, we'll get them next time. That's what we did with the last, with the last picks. So all those games, and I have a lot more, by the way. I mean, we got Northwestern. If they're playing, I like to take to fade them, fade Northwestern. Yeah, I got some over unders. Um, College, no problem. Yeah, we've been doing best with college actually. Oh, guys, so everything I just said, that's for the over under. I am so sorry. I'm gonna rerun everything, okay? Because some I was on the over under. So just bear with me. I still like fading Baylor, but it's on the under. So I like the Baylor under. Okay. I like the Baylor under. And you said Wyoming's playing tonight. I like the Wyoming over. Okay. I like the Boise State over. Um, Virginia, I'll go into them. But I said teams that were against the spread, and I was accidentally on the over underline. So I want you guys to disregard the teams I said about 5 minutes ago. That's all for the over under. Baylor, I like the under. Wyoming, I like the over. Uh, who else would you guys talk about? Boise State. Boise State, I think it's the over on them. I like the over on Boise State. So over on Boise State, under on Baylor, over on Wyoming. Now, if we go to against the spread, is Maryland playing? Because I would love to fade Maryland. They're 5-0. If not, I like Houston. I like fading Houston. They're 4-0. North Arizona doesn't play today. So Virginia, okay. I don't. The thing is, I don't know enough about Virginia. I can tell you, I like the under on the Virginia game. Wyoming plus 4.5. Well, you can't lock it in. And Wyoming, I like the over. By the way, like I said, Wyoming, I like the over. I thought I was on the against the spread. So if you can get the Wyoming over, that's the pick I like. Right now, I'm on the over under too. I haven't seen Baker play. I've been on here the whole time, just kind of like checking. I do know we won every game, so that's cool. But yes, yes, over. Yes, yes. I messed up and I thought I was against the spread. Um, I don't know Wyoming. Let me check their record against the spread. I know they haven't hit it over, Ant. So I like Wyoming on the over. Let me see what their record against the spread is. They might be bad there too. Wyoming is, yeah. I would take them to win too. Not to win, to cover. They're 0-3 against the spread. So I would take Wyoming to cover, and I like the over in that game. Kentucky, Gonzaga. Let's see. We got Gonzaga at 1-2 against the spread. We got Kentucky at 3-1. I would lead Gonzaga to cover, just because of the metrics. I don't know enough. That's not one I'm going to play. Um, but in my chat, a lot of people were telling me yesterday Xavier's going to lose to Indy. Xavier's going to lose, and they were right. So I'm sure people that are saying Zaga Zaga, know what they're talking about. So I would lean Zaga to cover the spread. Andy Dalton got 80th win on Biden's 80th birthday. That's interesting. Andy Dalton used to play for the Bengals. Bengals now have a Joe B, right? It's kind of interesting. What spread can cash? Like, are you trying to cash out a parlay, or are you just not? It's not letting you lock it in. Chargers, relatively, not like I like the Cowboys, but I like the over. I'm sorry, I like the Chargers because the the, the Chiefs took the first one. I think at home a lot of people are going to be taking the Chiefs, and I think guys like Eckler are going to come up big for the Chargers. I really do. I think the defense is going to play well. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I don't think they start the Chiefs off like they're a complete rocket ship. I think them and the Bills are going to finish pretty close. So yeah, I do like. I wouldn't say like I'm going to put it as my third leg. It's I have it at 25 right now for a first sequence, but I'm pretty sure the Chargers cover. I don't. They could win, but I'm more sure they cover. Yeah, and like I said, I think Wyoming goes over, and I think Wyoming wins. Oh, you can ask me all the ones you want. Um, Boise State money line. So I usually go by spread, so it's tough for me to do a money line unless it's close to the spread. What I can say is Boise State 2-2 on the over on the spread. So it's tough for me to pick that one, to be quite honest. Utah Valley State. Let me see what they're doing. This one looks like a close one, to be honest. I wouldn't know exactly who to pick with Boise. Like I said on that one, on Boise, the one I really liked was the make sure. Yeah, on Boise, I really liked the over. They're 0-4 on it this year. I think they finally go over. So if I was to bet the Boise game, I would not bet the game. I'd bet the over, whatever the over is. Um, it's not showing me right now, but yeah, it's really whatever the over is. And the Warriors. So the Warriors are another interesting one. Don't they play the No, the Knicks play the Suns. The Knicks just play the Warriors. Okay, the Warriors play. Oh, is this when they play? Are they away today? They're at okay. They are. So I remember them talking a couple days ago about how the Warriors are bad on the road. They can't get it done. Their defense is bad, and they can only win at home. I think they're pushing that narrative, and they want people to think Golden State can only win at home. 10.5 points is a lot. I'm leaning Warriors. Since it's 7 o'clock, yeah, I like the Warriors. Yeah, I agree, Steve. I think that's a high spread to be on the road. And you know the Warriors. They're not going to win by a point. They're usually going to run away with it or lose. So I like that cover, that 10.5. I think it's a good cover. Uh, I obviously I'd rather it at 9.5. But for tonight's games, just to recap, because I know some people are kind of hopping in and out, I'm going to go into just real quick for the NBA. I personally like the Pistons, who, by the way, have a record of 314. I like them to cover just because the Kings have covered so much. I like the Nets to cover because I think it's a trap line, and I think Kyrie did something, and he's going to look good. I like the Warriors to cover because of the narrative. I like the Mavericks to cover because of the narrative. Lakers, I'm staying away from. I don't think you could blame me. He's like LeBron is like Aaron Rodgers, and they have other guys like Anthony Davis to boot. Uh, they did just cover a spread. Had they not, I would have picked them tonight. But since they just covered a spread, I'm not sure if they do it again. I think it would be interesting if they got a good win because then they could say, "Oh, Lakers with two impressive wins in a row." But I'm just staying away from it. I will go into it if you guys want me to. I can go into it in the Discord, or I can just drop like a community post when I officially choose it. But as of now, I am leaning Warriors to cover. Not Warriors. Yeah, I like the Warriors to cover that spread. And then for the Lakers, I'm leaning Lakers, but I'm not in love with them. Who lost? Copy. Who you said they just lost? I missed it. What did you miss? Was it the what game just went final? I'm trying to see. Was it an over under or something? So Broncos over looking pretty good. I think the Cowboys over is looking pretty good. Okay, cool. The Steelers, yeah, it looks like the Steelers are going to keep it closer than we thought. And well, then not than we thought, but then Vegas had it. Sean was in here earlier. He brought a Pickett. Pickett's having a good game, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think we're doing good. We hit every 1 o'clock game. Again, even if we hit half of them, that's the system is so we can do the other half. What I'm going to eventually have once I'm got the technology like and I know what I'm doing is on this side you'll see my goofy mug, and on this side you'll see everything where I have the sports book page up, the charts, and all that, so we can all follow along together. I'm just trying to figure out how OPS works. But once we do that, that'll be cool because we could watch games together. Uh, we could do all sorts of things because, like I said, my sports book allows me to just put the game on. The only difference is it can't be copyrighted because it's through a sports book. It's not through like TV. But if somebody could like maybe in the Discord or whatever, just maybe help me out with screen sharing with YouTube, that would be great because I could really do a lot more. And you guys can see all the teams I'm talking about, just like I do it on my phone. But here, obviously, I'm just doing it live, so I can't really show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, it seems like we got mostly everything covered. I do want to do another one of these if you guys want to. Uh, maybe I mean, I could do it whenever, but maybe later one night, and we could just go into some theories. I think that would be fun. Maybe some narratives about some teams. Today, I wanted to actually go into what's going on. We were able to win a couple nice live bets, which was nice. The Giants Lions one was the only one that I had enough information on to really say they were going to certainly score or they were going to certainly go over because Steven, he basically brought to my attention how they were pushing the under. So Dallas recovered a fumble. Yeah, I think that defense is going to come off feisty, and that's good news because Kirk Cousins is not usually a comeback guy. He'll make a couple nice plays, but if he's getting discombobulated, he'll start playing really bad. So even if he didn't fumble, I can see the momentum switching. He was down, so he didn't fumble. Oh, yeah, okay. We'll have to see. Like I said, I'm not really following that one. It does look like Pittsburgh has a chance to tie the game up, though. That'd be nice, huh? Yeah, my thing's showing Cowboys do have the ball. Well, Elliott fumbled and got it back or something. Well, either I think the Cowboys. Like I said, I think a lot of public was going to be on Minnesota. It's interesting. I never like to jinx ourselves, but we might completely run the table uh, today, which would be really cool. And we didn't run the table yesterday, but the day before we ran the table with NBA, and yesterday we almost ran the table with college. We had a couple losses, so I think we're over the target. Especially you look at college; they are in the playoffs. One second, it's my doggy again. Sorry, guys. She kicks, like I said, she kicks my door to get in and out like a million times. So I had to let her out so she can get some. I think she wanted some water. Uh, I'll be wrapping this up soon in a minute anyway because we're about to. I'm gonna catch some of the 4 o'clock games and get some dinner. But yeah, I wanted to go into. Okay, cool. Pittsburgh scored. Yeah, I think that game's a trap. I think Cincinnati plus three minus 3.5 made no sense. It's still very early, of course. There's live betting to go on, but I'm pretty confident we're going to run the table today. I think we're going to hold Dallas. I do think that the Broncos win. I think they both go over, to be honest. And I think the Steelers wind up either upsetting or just spoiling at the end, kind of like the Patriots just did. So that's what Vikings are alive +8. That's great. Obviously, we got we got -2. So Vegas is obviously moving the lines, which is great because now you're gonna have people betting around the 8, and then what happens is it might move to 6 or 9 depending on how they bet. But since we got in basically even odds, I think we're safe. So Dallas should hold. Vegas knows a lot. When they move the line like that, it's for a reason. So yeah, I think we're looking good. Just to reiterate, I oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Steve. That's bullshit. So we fucking called. Well, Steve called. How Diggs was pointed out by Romo. We both agreed that he should get an interception, and now it's not letting him pick the prop for the interception. And let's see if he gets one. I bet you he does. They do that shit all the time. I remember I tried to bet on Shade on Sharp a couple days ago because Dame was out. I was going to bet Shade on to get like 20 points. He wasn't even on the list. And sure enough, he got 20 points. Um, and guys like Josh Hart that are actually considered like better were around 17, 18. So if I had got Shade on Sharp at 20, it would have been like 3 or 4 to 1 odds at least, but they wouldn't let me pick it. So a lot of times they'll lock out. They'll only keep the stars in there, and all these X factor players, and a lot of times defensive players, they won't let you pick them. Oh, they wouldn't let you pick a Zeke touchdown. That's messed up. Yeah, when they lock only one person, there's a reason. I think Diggs gets an interception, probably off of a Parsons pressure. I think Parsons pressures Cousins, and then he throws a pick to Diggs. He might even run it back. I just have this weird feeling it's going to happen. I really think they're going to pick it off. If they're in the red zone, yeah, Parsons, he could get a pick. I like him more for a forced fumble. Uh, he's that type of player where he just comes off the edge and just wrecks you. So, like, I would take him to force a fumble or get 2 sacks or something. But his sack line is probably high. I'm sure he's like 3 sacks or something like that. Like, would probably only pay 2 to 1. But that's what I'm saying. Dallas is not a team to mess with. Oh man, are you allowed to pick it at all, or is it completely locked? Because I mean, I could check mine. I mean, mine's not the same as yours, but it might have some. It might give me some idea. Yeah. So CD Lamb's looking good. Let me check the box score. Prescott's looking great. Pollard's looking great. Cousins took 2 sacks already. Dalvin Cook's running pretty well, and Jefferson's getting shut down. Yeah, I think Jefferson makes he'll make a nice play or two. Yeah, so he could be acting. He could definitely be acting. I think they are. Um, just because I don't know. The cameras always seem to zoom in on them when they are looking sad or whatever, when they're mad, when they're happy, and it just seems like acting to me. But I think he gets a big play. But I think Diggs winds up getting the last laugh, whether it be an interception. It could be a pass defense on fourth down, but he's going to come up. I think he's going to be the guy that like the dagger, like where he gets the game winning pick or the game securing pick. Or I just have a real big feeling, especially since Romo brought it up. Now, is there? I want to make sure there's nothing I didn't cover. I think we covered everything. Yeah, Rams. You know what? Not even for a second did I think about picking them. Like for half a second, I'm like, well, are they going to try and push them to the playoffs? And then I'm like, no, they're not. They're the Saints makes more sense because now you have at least the Saints, Bucks, and Falcons theoretically playing for the playoffs. And good, I'm glad Dallas got that field goal. Helps our over and helps Dallas. Yeah, we took Colts plus 7. And what's cool is a lot of people in here got in late. They couldn't get the Colts 7, so they took the Eagles money line. So for once, we clipped Vegas. So congratulations, guys. Can I do one of those little clap things? Hold on, I think I can. These emojis are weird. Yeah, I guess I can. I was trying to do a clap, but I don't see one of my emojis. Oh well. No, I can't get this thing down. There you go. Thank you, Copia. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get the clap up. Let's clap because we clipped Vegas for a change. People got the money line on Philly, and we got the hey, what's up, Creaky? It's good to see you, man. Uh, I don't. I know you didn't probably see what I was going over. Yeah, man. We got it. We clipped Vegas. We got the money line on the Eagles, and we got the plus 7 on the Colts. We found out their shenanigans, and last night with the Wolves, we got them too. Good job. Yeah, I think we did a good job today. They just they love trying to clip us. I'll tell you. Look at the Patriots. We clipped them there too. They thought for sure they were gonna get everyone on the Jets 3.5, and I felt bad for the people that did. I know some people did pick the Jets. It just I think that game was a complete trap. Uh, yeah, let's just fucking clap in Vegas's face, and we're gonna clap as Dak takes fucking Kirk Cousins chains because he doesn't know how to dance. I really think Minnesota is just they're being pushed a little more than they should be, but I understand why. You need teams that seem like they can't be stopped. But yeah, Creaky, I'm glad you're in here, man. Creaky's been from the beginning pointing out stuff about Kobe, about he kept me he kept me motivated to be quite honest because you have to understand when my channel first started, not a lot of people were watching, understandably so. But Creaky was always putting up ideas or just observations he noticed, and then that's kind of how the channel grew. We used first it was Kobe. We thought it was really odd what happened to him. Syracuse death. That was extremely interesting. That's another reason I like the Ravens this year. A couple Ravens died at the beginning of the year, so he knows a lot of that kind of stuff. We went into that together. This is looking good. So it looks like they're trying to push Russell. Like I said, I'm not giving up on Russell. I gave up on Rodgers, not giving up on Russell. Yeah, I'm curious too, Creaky. I thought you were kind of same time as me, but maybe not. It could be Australia, New Zealand. Okay, but yeah, it looks like Denver's gonna pop it in, which would be nice. Like I said, we got the over and Denver. But yeah, we started with Kobe. Syracuse was an interesting one, and then Knicks down 16. All right, we might not get that one. If we don't get that one, twice in the game, impossible. Now I'm wondering if the Denver gets in because didn't Romo say earlier they were having problems? Oh, they did. They kicked another field goal. Okay, so it's 13-3. Oh, here we go. Broncos are okay. The Cowboys are having problems in the red zone. So the Broncos could pop this in, which really helps the over too. And then I was going to go into what was the last one? The NBA game. I think there was an NBA game somebody asked about. Maybe not. But yeah, nothing really changed. I did notice that the Warriors, yeah, they're the same. A lot of teams given exactly 10. Isn't that interesting? Kings giving exactly 10. Uh, we have Rockets getting exactly 10. We have Mavericks giving exactly 10. And I bet you by game time, the Cavs are going to be giving exactly 10. I find that interesting. But yeah, Knicks down big, not great. Uh, sure, they can make a run, but we might lose that one. Now, if that's what I was going to go, if we do lose that one, okay, say the Knicks don't win, for my second leg, we went into this earlier, and I know it's not like a big game, but I'm taking the. Let me make sure they're 0 and 4. Hopefully, they didn't start already. 'Cause they're going to lock it in a second. It's Boise State, by the way, against the spread. Here we go. So for our second leg of and it's not Boise State. I'm just trying to get a good second leg. So for my second legs, what I do again is I look for teams that have not won or are undefeated against the spread. So did somebody tell me Wyoming plays today? Yeah, something's going on with the Bulls. I don't know what's going on. They're just basically screaming that they need another player because DeRozan was getting it done. I don't understand why suddenly they can't get anything done. It makes no sense at all to me. So I'm trying to find. We were talking about the team earlier, so I know they're in here. Oh, it was an over. Okay, yeah. So for my second leg of if Phoenix loses, we don't know if they're going to lose, but if Phoenix is to lose, I like the over on Boise State. Okay, and I'll get that exact because I'm locking it in right now. What I'm going to do is do a $25 bet on it. That way, Drake, Wyoming at 5:45. Okay, we're going to do that one too. But I'm locking in 25, and if they lose, what we're gonna do is add more to it, okay? So I'm looking at Houston's God goodness gracious. Hold on one second, guys. Drake, Wyoming. Okay, so yeah, for Drake, Wyoming, we're gonna lock these in now, okay? And just bear with me because I'm trying to do it all again live. For Drake, Wyoming, here we are. All right. I just want to make sure I had the right site up. They got a field goal blocked. Figures. Maybe they do want the under the hit. Yeah, Drake, Wyoming's another one. That one again, I like simply because of the metric. I like Wyoming to win that game. So I like Wyoming to win. So that one's coming up if you want to lock in Wyoming. I like them to cover the spread, I'm sorry, not to win. Thanks, Copy. So basically what I do is I just look at teams that are 0 and 4 against the spread, 0 and 4 on the under, 4 and 0, whatever it might be. Right now it's college. If it's basketball and a team's 2 and 12 against the spread, I'm going to pick them. Because if you look back at history, the worst team any given year finishes like 30 to 40%, and the best team finishes 60 to 70. So if we know that, that's why I'm fading the Kings tonight. If we know that, the odds of the Kings starting 12 and 3 against the spread or whatever it is, very improbable. I would do that, Steven. I like Wyoming with the points. They're 0 and 4 against the spread this year. So if they're not to cover, we'll get them again next time. And then for the second leg of my the Suns, if they're to lose, I locked in 25 already. So of course I'll just add 25 to it to make it a second leg. I do like Boise State to go over. So Virginia won. I probably should have covered Virginia. I didn't know enough about it. You guys were telling me about the shootings and stuff. Yes, every sport. So if you go to hockey, I knew nothing about hockey. I picked a shitty team to cover a money line spread minus 1.5. Like it was like a plus 250, and I won it easily because I just looked and we're about three for four on hockey. So the problem is I'm doing so many sports, I have a very hard time even watching them And now people are like, "Hey, let's do UFC, let's do the World Cup," and I would love to. It's just football is hard enough, so I'm trying to just use metrics. So yeah, basically, if you just use the metrics, like right now, if you go to Google and type in college football against the spread, it will take you to a team rankings website where you can see their records. And that's why I want to share my screen. It'd be nice to show you. Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, so Roblox. I know. Yeah. So what did they do? They had the Colts look great for Saturday. They covered the spread, but at the last minute, of course, the Eagles were able to get that win. I got the Broncos too, Creaky. I think they cover. I don't think Russell's story's over. What do you think? You think Russell keeps riding? Creaky knows his shit. That's why I'm asking him. You guys all do, but Creaky, like I said, I go back with him. He has some good stuff. So I'm curious, and Steven too. I'm curious what you guys think. Anybody, but I know Creaky, you're saying Broncos for the win. I agree. Do you think they're going to run with it? Do you think they're going to keep winning and have Russell in the playoffs or at least in the hunt? I did a calculation, and even if they lose one of the games to the Chiefs, and there's another game that they should lose, they still get in. They get in as a seventh seed. I agree. I think they get in. I think that loss to Tennessee was to deflate everybody, kind of like when Rodgers lost. Now Rodgers is interesting. Yeah, Carr could pull it off. I don't think they care about Carr. I heard that they don't like Derek Carr. Somebody told me that. I don't know how true it is. Gruden seems to be being punished. Madden died this year, or when was it last year? I think the Raiders have a down year, get a good draft pick, and get pushed next year when the Super Bowl's in Vegas. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with Russ. I think he gets in. Carr, yeah, I don't. I mean, that was interesting. Whenever somebody gets the team together and they're all emotional, you get a little worried. It was like when Ron Rivera said Carson Wentz was a bad quarterback, and then he won the next game. If it's up 20, yeah, you might as well do it. Yeah, just lock it in for the second leg. Yeah, I don't think the Raiders get it done. Uh, and this is a good example live of how the system works. So here comes our first loss, which I think is damn impressive. But it's the Suns. It looks like they're going to lose. So we're doing a second leg, which is just a second unit. So if you bet 15, you're betting 30. If you bet 20, you're betting 40, etc. And I like the Boise State over. Yeah, Vegas. It's going to be in Vegas next year. Madden, just died. Wasn't Gruden only suspended for 1 year? So wouldn't John be back? It's very interesting. And of course, he was the Raiders coach exactly 20 or was it 22 years ago when they won. The whole thing is just very weird. Or they didn't win. They went there and lost. The preacher thing, yeah. So if they're not for a particular religion, they might not like that player. Now, I noticed when I think it was J.J. Watt came out, basically supporting the police or something like that. He started having down games. So I don't know exactly how all that works, but yeah, I think Carr. I think he's like his brother. I don't think he's ever going to do anything. He is a draw. It seems like that family has a lot of. It's like the Luck family. It seems like they have a lot of influence. Heineke. I think that's going to be the story. So I said this at the beginning of the year. And let's look at all the teams. Yeah, I think Gruden comes back, and he'll be a heel, of course, and that's why his win's going to be probably great for the NBA NFL. So here's what's interesting: Raiders, Broncos, we got both starting quarterbacks. Okay, Cowboys, we had Rush, but we still have our starting quarterback. Vikings starter. Steelers, they're on their backup or their third stringer. Uh, Panthers, backup or their third stringer. Bill Browns, backup or the third stringer. Commanders, backup or the third stringer. Colts, backup or the third stringer. Patriots, backup or the third stringer. I've never seen a year where this many teams uh, lose or have second and third string quarterbacks in. We have half the fucking league that has an injured quarterback and nobody's questioning it in a year where they're more protective of quarterbacks than ever. Yeah, it makes no sense, copy. I think what they're doing, it happened with the Niners. Now you got Jimmy G. I think what they're doing is they're seeing who draws better, just like the NBA. So this quarterback's in. That's why I think that's why Jones is going to wind up playing for I think he's more of a draw. I could be wrong. Yeah, Carr. He's a money draw. He's a good actor. So is Cousins. I mean, remember Cousins? You like that? You like that? Remember that whole thing? So I mean, they're good actors. But I think some of them are just gonna be certain roles, like Rivers never got past a certain role. 11 is fifth my number. Yeah, I have to look more into again, the gematria. I look at, like, a lot of times the symbolism. So if I see the same number appearing a million times, yeah, they knew that was gonna go viral. They wanna, what were they giving him his black card? I'm not sure exactly what they were doing there, but it was just a stupid thing. I think they knew it was gonna go viral. Now Cousins looks like a cool guy. I mean, it's funny, but again, I think it was more symbolic. He's gonna have his chain snatched by fucking Dak, who deserves him. But no, I don't dislike Cousins. I just think it's weird. That's a good point. A noose. Did Heineke too? That's interesting. So yeah, chains, gold. Maybe he's sold out, and they got the chains around his neck. That makes sense. I like that point. That definitely makes sense. And they were even putting them on him and, like, kind of like a puppet, showing him what to do. Right. So that is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Everything they do has a meaning. They didn't just put that video out for fun. And it's funny that marijuana is now, well, it was banned in the NFL. Did you see those guys? They must have been on Wolf of Wall Street drugs the way they were acting. That plane, I swear, if that plane was raided by the DEA, every one of those players in a non-corrupt fucking country would have been arrested because, not, I don't mind. They can do whatever the hell they want. But gosh, they were fucking high on all sorts of shit. Like, and then they get on Josh Gordon and ban him for fucking 3 years because he smokes weed. It's just ridiculous. Possible. I haven't looked enough into Jalen Green. There's some players that I haven't looked enough into. There's some that I have. Like, I know a lot about what's going to happen with Luca. I think Chris Paul. Yeah, weed in the ashtray. Yeah, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with some marijuana. I don't think. But then you're letting these players on the plane probably do fucking coke, all sorts of shit, and there's no ramifications. But they come down so hard on marijuana. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. And once again, not to get off topic, a rustler is responsible for NFL now being able to smoke because Rob Van Dam led the charge of it was like an athletic marijuana campaign. And he said, I wrestled every match and I needed my marijuana to focus. I needed it to stay calm. And sure enough, now people can smoke in the NFL because of Rob Van Dam, a wrestler. Good job, Pollard. Uh, Cowboys can go 7-4 on Thanksgiving like last year when they played the Raiders. This year they're playing the Giants. Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I think the Giants start losing out. I wouldn't be surprised if they finished right behind the Commanders. Yeah, RVD, man, he's one of my favorites of all time. He's so underrated. If you guys don't watch wrestling, just check out Rob Van Dam. That guy, he's great to watch. He's in his like 50s and he's still doing like jumping wheel kicks and stuff. Interesting. So Romo's praising the Vikings and was it Vikings and then Pollard. And again, if people had Zeke to get 2 touchdowns, that's probably why Pollard scored instead. So 74. So we're pretty sure the Cowboys are gonna win, right? Is that what we're saying? Because I like them anyway. On Thanksgiving, I feel like it doesn't happen every year, but we know the Lions are gonna lose. So I think it makes sense for the Cowboys to win. And for the record, I think their records being basically even, and then the Commanders winning as well would make it really interesting. Yes, I heard them talking about it. I didn't see it. I heard them saying, "Oh, it's unfortunate, this, that, and the other thing. We hope he gets." And that's what annoys me. They're like, "Oh, we hope he gets straight. We hope he gets his stuff together." They're high too. I guarantee you, every one of those guys, the TNT primetime guys, Romo, Aikman, and Buck, every one of them are on something. Exactly. Why do they come down on marijuana but not rape and not other stuff? It's a very good question that never gets addressed because they don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care if you're doing marijuana. They're probably mad because you're not getting pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's just messed up. It, or how come you can do steroids like Merriman and you got 4 weeks, did it again, got 1 year. Gordon does marijuana once, gets a year, does it again and gets fucking suspended indefinitely. It just yeah, exactly. It's all about the money. Um, some people get caught with tons of weed, which is I understand if you're selling it, but I don't know. When you have someone like Gordon who's just smoking, I think it's ridiculous to ruin his career. Yeah, I mean the NFL is corrupt. It's fixed. I call that's why I call it national sports entertainment because I think it's all sports. My channel was going to be the National Football Federation. I thought that sounded pretty cool, but I just basically went with something that was all sports. But it is. Um, I mean, gosh, The Rock was the guest host of the Super Bowl. You have guys like Pat McAfee, Rob Gronkowski, Pac-Man Jones. Nice one. Nothing but actors. Leaving the leaving the NFL to go right to fucking wrestling, and they do perfect. Why do you think they translate so well? Gronk couldn't. He was the only one, and the reason Gronk couldn't. This is a funny story. He was afraid to take a bump. Okay, this shows you how tough wrestlers are. Vince McMahon wanted Rob Gronkowski to like fall off a stage through a table, a prop table, about 10 feet. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to get hurt, this, that, and the other thing. And Vince is like 70 years old. He's like, I'll show you how to do it. Move aside. And Vince fucking McMahon jumps off the thing. You have to watch the video. Through a fucking table and does it. So then Gronk did it. But some players just can't do it. Kurt Angle didn't play middle linebacker in the NFL. He would have been like, wouldn't he have been a good linebacker? That's what I wonder. So Brock Lesnar tried out for the good job, Dallas. They're looking good for us. I knew they were going to win. I didn't know John Cena said that, but yeah, Brady, Gronk. I mean, you see the connection. Why do you think the winner gets a Super Bowl or gets the winner of the Super Bowl always gets a title, right? They get a WWE title, and they're so happy when they get it. They're happier. They celebrate more with the WWE title than they do with the NBA and the NFL titles. Did you see Giannis when he got his? He looked like a kid on Christmas. But when he won the Super Bowl, when he won the finals, he was like, yeah, 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 whatever. 43 yards, yeah, 4-3. Watch how many times in games 3rd and 14 comes up. Comes up a lot. I think they do, King Richard. That's where we have to find out. Kurt deserves his change. He's got his gold medals. He's good. Kurt's got the gold medals. Um, but he was a Pittsburgh native. Yeah, The Rock basically sealed the deal when he's like, here we have two teams. We have the Los Angeles, and he just announced it like a promo. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but they just solidified the point that it's entertainment. You know, yeah, entertainment is on the ticket. It says for entertainment purposes only. You can't sue them for rigging a game. And furthermore, in the NFL rulebook, there's nothing saying you can't script a game. There's no rule against collusion. Oh yeah, we're on the Broncos all day. Um, I don't know what the spread changed to is the only problem. We got it at 2.5. Yeah, it's sports entertainment. Why do you think next, right under hockey, is WWE like wrestling? McMahon told ESPN, if you don't put me in there with sports, I'm going to sue because I have every right to be there as the other leagues, and they had no choice but to put him in there. Then he bought the XFL, owned the XFL, and now The Rock owns the XFL. Oh man, I don't know, but if they're gonna say he gambled, he's done. He's getting the Pete Rose treatment. Who's UCLA playing? That's what I need to know because I have certain teams based off of the metrics and Baylor. Oh, I thought I liked Baylor. No, I liked. Let me see. No, I think we're fading Baylor. Sorry, I think you're right, but I think you're right. Let me check. Yeah, they don't like McMahon. He don't forget McMahon beat Ted Turner. The XFL was actually competing before COVID happened. So in my opinion, I'll tell you a funny story about McMahon after this. So Baylor is, I think Baylor's undefeated against the spread. No, they're 2-2. Okay. And UCLA is. That's a difficult one. To be quite honest, I could see Baylor actually covering. What I do like a lot more, just because again of the metrics on that game, I love the under. I love the Baylor UCLA under. I much prefer that than the game. Um, yeah, and if you notice, King Richard, what they do is look at the Patriots game. I'm sure Jets people who had the 3.5 were so stoked, and look how they ended it. What about someone that had the Colts money line? They just do it all. Oh, Parsons, I knew he was going to get a couple sacks. I'm telling you. I'm surprised Romo didn't point it out. He did. I'm telling you. I think I'm on a telepathic level with Tony Romo because he said. I'm telling you. We know how. I wish I was watching the game, but I don't even need to sometimes to see what's going on between what you guys are commenting and just hearing what they're saying. So we know Parsons. I think he got 5 sacks against the Giants. Now we got Romo pointing out him, pointing out Diggs. I still think Parsons forces a interception or something. Des Bryant, I forget about him. He kind of fell off, so he must have gambled. Yeah, the Patriots, right? Jet. What hit the tower? It was a jet. Patriots, United States. There's a lot of comms. Brady went to Florida. Same place a lot of Trump went. So yeah, and then he won. There's a lot of correlations, and there's correlations with wrestling in it. There's a guy who does a channel and he shows how wrestling predicts other stuff. Josh Allen's the new Peyton Manning, in my opinion. Uh, Not that he plays like him. Third and 23. Not that he plays like him, but I think. Oh yeah, 3-2-3. Isn't 2-3-2 or whatever the skull and bones? But not that he plays like him, but I think Mahomes is the new Brady. He's going to be the one that gets pushed. He's going to be the one that's the new guy. Oh yeah. Anytime they announce an injured left tackle, watch, you're gonna see them say, "Oh yeah, they got a banged up offensive line," and yeah, and Parsons is going to town. But yeah, it was yeah, Mahomes. I think we both get it. Like they have certain guys in place. Jimmy G's another one that he might not be a Manning or a Brady, but he's definitely going to be, in my opinion, pushed really hard. But yeah, I think Allen's going to be the new Manning. He's going to play a lot of great games, but a lot of bad beats too. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be like the Colts, because Josh Allen, I think he's a little more liked. People look at the Chiefs and they're like, "Oh, well, they got everything." Even though the Bills have a good team, they're built as more of a team that built themselves versus just a bunch of talent. So I think people prefer. Yeah, Cousins is gonna get rocked all game. I think people prefer, in my opinion, uh, the Bills. So we're going to see a lot of Bills Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs going to beat them a lot, unfortunately, for Josh Allen. Jimmy G, yeah, he's like a Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. Uh, he's going to be a role player for sure. I think he does win a Super Bowl. I just don't think he's going to be like Brady or like the Mahomes or Allen type treatment. He'll be a top four though. I'm curious to see what they do with Herbert. I thought they were going to push Herbert, but I guess they haven't. Oh, it must be pretty big. I think they've won at least 3 or 4 in a row, I think. Second half predictions, what's the streak? Let's see what's going on. So I think we officially lost our first game. Let me see. Yeah, we officially lost the Knicks, which is fine because we locked in Boise State over, and we also got Wyoming going on in a minute. For the NFL, exactly, dude. Copy. I'm telling you, all these things you're saying, they're exactly. I promise you what I was thinking. So they always build like this stifling defense, like they did again, like back when the Ravens won, when they had like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. They build a stifling defense that you can't run on. Then you have an offense that's just good enough to move the ball, and You can do it routinely. You got Debo, you got Kittle, you got a couple nice guys. I think they got Robinson. They have good players. So to me, they actually I thought of them, and I thought of the Bucks, the Ravens back in the early 2000s. That's good because Romo usually doesn't say the opposite. He usually says exactly what's going on. So I think that Dallas holds. But yeah, I definitely agree that Jimmy, it's going to be like the Ravens, that team. For second half predictions, who do we got? Well, we're in the second half. Bengals Steelers go into the second half. I still like the Steelers. Um, I like them to cover. They should be getting about three. I haven't checked it, but they should be getting about three here. Broncos, I still like them to hold. It's past the halftime. It looks like the Raiders might tie it or take a lead, but I still like them. And I really like the Chargers later tonight. But the only one going into the second half looks to be the Bengals, and I like the Steelers to cover that game. Oh yeah, yeah. So Fields, yep. I mean, one game. It's like Daniel Jones. One game he's getting tackled in the backfield. He's the acceleration's not there, and then the next game he's sprinting past Parsons. He's jumping over Diggs. He's stiff arming Ramsey. That stuff just doesn't happen. No, I like the Steelers second half. I think people are going to be all over the Bengals. I took them pre-game. I took them before the game started. I took Steelers plus 3.5. But yeah, I figured they would probably tie it up. That helps our over. We have the over on that too, so it's kind of like a hedge. So if the Broncos lose, but the over hits, we got that, and we'll just double up on the Broncos. But I think the Broncos hold. Yeah, Pitt 3.5. I like. Burrow throw a pick. That makes sense. Who got 2 yards more than? Was that today? Fields. What did he run for? Because I keep picking him to pass for 200 yards, thinking he'll eventually do it, and I'm just getting screwed because he keeps running the ball. So I just stopped. I did like 15, 20, 30, and then I'm just like, okay, let me stop doing player props. 320. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Oh, is the Bengals locked? I bet you the Steelers win because of that pick. Doggy's back. And I'm gonna wrap this up in 1 second. Let me just get my doggy. She keeps kicking. She wants a treat. Sorry about that, guys. She loves attention. I think she wants to go on a walk or something in a minute. But uh, yeah, I field is ridiculous. I mean, there's players open and he's not passing. I think they're just telling him to. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Copia. Uh, they say it helps the algorithm. I hope it does. Um, yeah, I know you said you got 70 rushing yards and a touchdown, Steven. So that's good. Uh, yeah, the quarterback's running, and then having these two running backs also is a prop killer now because you could pick Zeke, and then Pollard's going to run 15 times. It's really tough. So you could pick Chubb, and they have a backup. I forget his name, but he's pretty good. Redskins have two running backs, so it's really tough. I like to do props, but I try and keep them. What I like to do is say a player. Yeah, I know you got that one. Good job, man. I think the Steelers cover. Yeah, I think it's a trap game. Why were they only getting 3.5? Cowboys, they got Pollard and they got Zeke, and they got Dak who can run. So I mean, it's really difficult to, in my opinion, pick props on it. They make it where there's so many players. The NBA is the same. They'll have a player that you can't even pick, and he'll come in and get 28 points, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? So Pittsburgh's down a little more. So Vegas is saying Pittsburgh has a better chance than before, which is interesting. Maybe they think it's exactly a field goal, uh, which is nice. And again, I think Vegas knows already. Memphis. Oh, the Grizzlies you're talking about? Yeah, I mean, yeah, so Ja doesn't play. everybody assumes they're gonna suck, right? And then Bane goes off, and then fucking what's his name? Is it Tyrus Jones? That dude can't miss when he's on. Uh, there are so many teams, in my opinion, or players on that team that just when they want to, they can't be stopped. So yeah, the Grizzlies, yeah, Adams is one of those players that is just important to have on your team. JJ Jr., yeah, when he's on the team, it makes a difference. I just don't like the fact that the Nets are given 7.5 with how bad they've been playing. I think even without Ja, people are going to be all over Memphis. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Yeah, Pittsburgh looks like it's slowly flipping. Um, Here's where you might get a lot of money on the Bengals because people are going to say Bengals even odds. I'm taking it. So this might be a good time if you haven't played it to get some money on the Steelers. 1.5 is rough because again, you don't cover that field goal. You're basically picking a money line. But from the beginning, the game just seemed odd to me. I don't know why they had, the Bengals only 3.5. They do. I think Jamar Chase is out today. But yeah, Chase, what is it? Chase, Higgins, and Boyd or something. And then they don't use Mixon enough. If they use Mixon, they'd be good. Yeah, the slides. They always wear their slides. Yeah, if it moves a 6.5, would be interesting. It really depends on what happens on this drive, I guess. Broncos got. I'm not even sure what's going on with the Broncos. I think they got 3rd and 1. It looks like. Uh, Cowboys looking good. Anything can happen, of course. And yeah, Steelers got 2 timeouts, so they might be able to get a score before halftime. So that'll be interesting if they get that. I do find it interesting. Like I said, I started my stream uh, just randomly, and all the games happen to be going to halftime at the same time. Uh, you know, there's no way they can coordinate that. Like they have to do it on purpose. I think the Lakers are going to tank. Here's my opinion on LeBron. Very possible, Neil. That could definitely happen. I just think the 3.5 will hold. Um, but yeah, so I think the Lakers are going to lose out. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the West, and I think they're going to keep pushing how bad they are and how they can't get together. And I think LeBron's going to lose as a penance until Bronny gets drafted. Then I think in 24, him and Bronny win, and then LeBron can retire. That's my opinion. I know it's weird, like to think that they'd give LeBron 3 horrible years in a row, last year, this year, and it would have to be next year. Maybe next year they do a little better, but I don't think he touches a title until, or even gets close until Bronny gets drafted. That's my opinion. I think he's paying a penance. We all know with that team they could win every single game. They could go out there and wreck not every game, but they could be a much better team. Davis could score. Who said it? I think it was fucking Kevin Durant came out and said it. They were like, "Oh, what's it like guarding Anthony Davis?" Nah, he can score whenever he wants. He just decides when he wants to. Then he laughs. Like, if that's the case, then why aren't they giving him the ball every play? You could just tell it's rigged. Yeah, I think that would be a good draw. Bronny and his son. And again, wrestling kind of gives it away. They just had Rey Mysterio and his son. By the way, they're from California. They just had them win the first ever. They were the first son and dad to win the tag team titles about a couple months ago. So I think they were foreshadowing what's going to happen. In this case, it's going to be father and son, LeBron and Bronny winning. Whether that's with Cleveland or something, I don't know. But I do think LeBron's going to lose until he gets drafted. Now, if you haven't seen my theory on this year, I think the 76ers win. Yeah, well, let me get the Russ for a second. Russ didn't do anything. This poor guy. Let's just pretend it's real for a second, okay? Harden leaves. It's Russ and Durant. Serge. They can't get it done. Durant leaves and goes to the team that beat them. Russ stays on the team, puts up triple doubles, does everything he can, and I'll go over that in 1 second, Jane. Though I have him right on my phone. Does everything he can, and they treat him like he's just like oh, he's bricking shots. He's doing this. He was the only guy on the team. Then he gets moved to Washington, gets moved around. Now he's on the Lakers, and they're treating him like a clown. And the NBA media is doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they don't want people blaming LeBron James. They want people blaming Russ. So now everyone thinks it's cool just to laugh at Russ, make fun of Russ. The guy didn't do anything wrong. In my opinion, he's been more loyal than LeBron and Kevin. He's been efficient when he's been given a chance. And Pat Bev brought it up. How come you can't make fun of Chris Paul when he plays like shit? But you can get all over Russ. I don't get the Russ was a goat. He was. I'll be the first to say it. That guy did stuff that nobody else could do. I don't care if he missed a lot of shots. He was what was he working with? He almost beat the fucking team that Kevin Durant left him. I mean, I just don't understand that whole thing. Um, a 2-for-1 to end the game. So do you mean oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when he took that horrible shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he might not be in on it. Uh, I didn't see exactly the shot, but I do know he pulled up and like why he shot. I thought they had the 2-for-1 though, so I don't see why he. What's wrong with taking the shot if he had the 2-for-1, or did he take it after the 2-for-1? So I would need to know, what's going on, because to me, taking an open 15-foot jump shot with a 2-for-1, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, Yeah, Colin kind of comes out and he kind of admits it's rigged. I've seen him do it. He won't straight up say it. Pat McAfee's rogue, by the way. Pat McAfee came out and said it was rigged. They went after his channel, and then like 2 or 3 days later, he's coming out. This is brought up, I think, by Steve in the Discord. He came out saying, "Oh, anyone saying the NFL is rigged is just mad because their team lost. I was in the NFL and you couldn't rig it." This is right after he called it rigged. Okay. So yeah, you're basically giving the other team the last shot. Yeah, in that case, that's a bad shot. I'll agree. I thought they had like 30, like over 30 on there, where they were going to get the ball back if he missed anyway, because you don't want to give if you have a 2-for-1, you want to take it. So if it was only 6 seconds, yeah, I understand that. Um, I agree. I mean, it's like Kyrie, right? Kyrie might be just saying stupid shit that they're telling him to say. So it's hard to feel bad for him, and it's hard to feel bad for Russ if he's getting $200 million to be a clown, right? But I'm just saying, if it's real, let's pretend it's real. There's no reason to hate Russ. Is all I'm saying. If it's fake, yeah, we hate them all because they're all a bunch of assholes. But if it's real, yeah, there's no reason, and people think it's real, but they still hate Russ. So you can see how the NBA paints these narratives that shouldn't be. But I agree with you; they're all clowns. If you're acting like an idiot because they're telling you to, then you're a clown. Now Derrick Rose, I think he actually stuck to his principles because he has been given nothing. He's one of the most talented players there is, and now he's just a backup on the Knicks. And I heard Dolan just signs guys that are rogue players, like Spreewell, guys that most of the NBA owners don't like. Dolan will go ahead and sign them. So I'm not sure how true that is, but yeah, I heard Derrick Rose got punished real hard too. Again, Jamal Rashad, all of his shit got taken down, but he put out a channel about Rose and the few players that he thought were real ones. Uh, yeah, like look what happened to Allen Iverson. Okay, Baylor, Wyoming. That one's a good one. Oh yeah, somebody asked me about over unders. Hold on, sorry about that. I have so much. Yeah, New York City would be interesting. I'm curious to see. Yeah, they did bring in a lot of. Yeah, I have noticed that. I'm curious to see if they bring in. I always wanted to see T Mac win one, but I guess he was part of it too. So over unders. So Baylor already started. As I said, I love the under on that game. They haven't gone on under all year. We got Hofstra yesterday. We picked the under in that hit. Let me see. Some of these games don't play tonight. That's the only reason I have to check them. Oh, Brett. Yeah, Brett he used to get pounded and they wouldn't call flags. 151. Nice. So okay. So it's at one. So it's moved up. Okay. I'm not sure like I said, I go by the metrics. It looks like the initial over under for Baylor is 155 for 151 and a half. Yeah, I saw a channel. You might have saw the same one. I think it was Lobo or something, and it was cool. It basically goes into the breakdowns of how Memphis. Yeah, the money line's not bad. It could work. You never know. I like the Nets. I think it's a game Kyrie does good, but you never know. Uh, yeah, I don't know the initial over unders for the basketball. I literally just go and look for the 4 and O's or the 0 and 4s, and I fade them or pick them. So, for example, I think they play tonight too. No, Minnesota doesn't play tonight. I thought they did. We got. Let's see if some of these schools are like smaller schools too. Okay, here's one. I think. Let me see. I'm trying to find another over under. Hey, baby. Yeah, I think. Okay, so we already talked about Xavier. They played yesterday. That's right. Somebody told me to pick them too. I should probably should have. But yeah, I think I got all the over unders to be honest. Earlier in the video, I went over them. I'm trying to find them again. For the unders, I do like. Let's see. Okay, almost every one of them played already. Like Oklahoma, I like for the under, but they already played. I have Brooklyn just because I think 7.5 is a lot of points, and they're going to get faded. Yep, Cam just got kind of moved out, right? Even though he was doing everything right. Uh, Antonio Brown couldn't be stopped. The same happened to Chad Ochocinco. It happens, and I don't know why it happens. I don't know if it's because they're not doing exactly what they're told or what the case may be. But it is to me, it's pretty obvious. Well, I hope Yale plays. Okay, so damn it, I was gonna have us take Yale, but it's too late. See, a lot of these, I have so little time to find them. Arizona plays tomorrow. East Michigan. Let's see, East Michigan already played. I'm trying to find teams that fit my metric, but I don't want to take too much time. If I find them, I will post them. But the ones that I went over: Wyoming, Baylor, Boise State, all the ones that haven't hit the over. Like I said, you can check the metric and you'll see uh, right on college team rankings. I know some of them already started, but just for the future, for any games that you want to play, the over under, you can go ahead and just check that metric, and that's what I do. Oh yeah, they think that's a thing. They think it's real. So maybe they one that once they find out it's not, they're not cool with it. Maybe they can't adapt. I remember they kept saying Chad Ochocinco could not adapt to the Patriots system. So was it really the plays he couldn't adapt to, or was it the fact that he didn't want to be a part of a rigged game because the Patriots were obviously cheating at the time? To he's interesting too. He was always treated like a cancer, right? He was always very passionate. Now I have seen him come out and say some, I'd say like follow the media where he just kind of says what he's told to say. 1 second, baby. You gotta go on a walk. 1 second. I can only do a few more minutes. I gotta take her on a walk. It's been a little bit, but yeah, I think To was treated worse than Randy Moss because he didn't cave. He stayed strong on some issues, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, the over. So yeah, yeah. Did I say the over? I hope I didn't. I thought for sure I said the under. Um, I like the under on Baylor. If this ever happens, just so you know, it's rare, but say I took the wrong one. If you took the over, go ahead and put 50 on the under now, if you can. If it's about the same, if the line didn't move too much, because we want the under. Uh, in my opinion, I feel like the under's going to hit. If I said over, I apologize. Uh, I meant the under. They are 4-0 on the over, so we definitely want the under there. Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot. There's players like they seem like just complete actors. Like they're just. I think look at some of the names: Sauce Gardner. Uh, CD Lamb. Now some of these names are nicknames, but they're obvious. They're I feel like they're given stage names. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. They all just sound like you know superstar names that you don't usually hear. Vince Young, he was so damn good, and yeah, just fell off. I feel like I don't know why he didn't do anything wrong. He was playing fine, and then suddenly they're just like, it wasn't like other players that came out and busted. This guy was playing good, I thought. So he could be another one. J.C. Horn, yeah, I haven't. Um, I'm not sure about J.C. Horn. I don't. Is he? Did he come out recently? Okay, cool. So the under over didn't move too much. Perfect. I think the under hits. Again, I'm just going off the metric. So the under hits, you'll lose a little bit on juice, but you'll still profit. So that's good. Yeah, I'll have to look into him. I like I said, I haven't followed too much. I've just been seeing a lot of like cool names where I'm like, you know, it seems like they're trying to build these guys as superstars. So that's just like what I feel like. Oh, no problem, Peter. I just I wanted to cover the halftime. I didn't want to drag it on too long, but I also wanted to just kind of talk while the games are going on so we can see what's going on. Today was a good day. We hit every 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock looking like couple we might miss, but we're not sure. Yeah, Hillary Clinton was in here before. Oh yeah, hi, Clinton Dix. How about what's his name? Rakia Sun or something? Rakia Sim or something? I mean, come on. These names are just ridiculous. So it's almost like wrestling, in my opinion. All right, cool. I think the Baylor under hits. Like I said, it hasn't hit all year. That's the metric I go by. And then the other one we had Wyoming. I think that one's already started. And I believe they were 0-3 against the spread, so we took Wyoming. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure it was the spread, not the over under for Wyoming. Yeah, for Wyoming, we have them covering the spread. So no over. They're 0-3 on against the spread or 0-4. So we're going to take them to cover the spread. If it's live and it's early, then I would still take them to cover the spread. Uh, Again, it's always the initial spread. So like I said earlier, yeah, Wyoming covering the spread I liked. Baylor, I'm glad. Thank you for getting for correcting me, Steve. Uh, Baylor is the under. So if it's live and you're betting it, I'm betting the under on Baylor. And then the other one was Boise State. I thought Boise State was interesting because Boise State's the same on the over under. That's the one that we did a second leg on because one of the ones I should say because Boise State is currently 0-4 on the over. So Boise State's the one we're taking the over. Baylor under, Boise State over. Yeah, John, I thought it was a really cool name, unique name that nobody had. So I thought, I'll take that as my stage name. My normal name is so boring. I was like, let's go with John. That's a way better name. Nobody has that name. So yeah, that's why I chose it. But yeah, no, I'm glad you guys are here and stuff. If you want, like I said, I can do later in the night, like maybe tomorrow or the next night, we can do this. Just kind of talk about cool stuff. Yeah, go ahead and take Wyoming with the 5.5. I like that. I think that was their pregame line, wasn't it? So not much. I'm guessing not much has changed. That's good. And then yeah, Baylor the under, Boise State the over. I like. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know that. See, that's the stuff that's really cool. I don't know a lot of the history sometimes. I'm so busy looking at the numbers and just the metrics and trying to do different systems that like I'm not good at the history of the players. Now, if somebody tells me, I'll remember it, but like I won't just find that stuff out. So that's cool. Oh, it's 2.5. So okay, so they're bigger. So you got a better odd. That's good. I think they'll cover the 2.5 even. I do, but the 5.5 is even better. Yeah, that's interesting with Kanye. You had 4.5. Yeah, I thought it was 5, but it might have been different for different people. Uh, Mine, when I looked at it, I thought it was 5 or something. But again, it could range. My book's been off by a point or two sometimes before. But I think Wyoming pulls it out. For college, we've been doing really good. And as I said, say Wyoming does not pull it out and they go to 0-5 or whatever it is, 0-4 on the spread, we'll be taking them again next game. Um, you know, I don't see a team starting off 0-8, something like that on the spread. Just very rare. But just to recap, I know we hit everything. I just wanted to go into the Chargers. The reason I like them, I didn't really go into the reason I like them. I think again, I don't think they start Mahomes off like a rocket ship. I think they show that they have a couple of issues, and I think they need to keep a lot of the AFC teams in the hunt. Jets, Patriots, Dolphins, Chargers, Broncos. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying Bengals. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but I do think the Chargers get that win. Pollard with another touchdown. And how many people probably picked Zeke to get all these touchdowns, right? So helping our over. Yeah, that's been the story all year. That's why I think they're not going to win. They're going to say, Mahomes was wrong. He said he doesn't need a hill. Well, he does need a hill, right? I thought Odell Beckham Jr. going there might make sense. Isn't that convenient? The receiving touchdown. So if you picked him to get a rushing touchdown, you're screwed. I actually thought about that, starting to pick running backs to get receiving touchdowns because I bet you get pretty good odds. So, Steven, um, as you know, anytime you see that, I mean, there's rarely any exceptions. I'm always going to take Clemson and Cal. I didn't know they were playing today, but if it's not too late, I'm going to lock them in a minute. I always take teams that are like that against the spread. 0 and 4, 4 and 0. You fade the 4 and 0. You take the 0 and 4. On the over under, I fade teams that are 4 and 0. So there you're saying Clemson and Cal are 0 and 4. I would take them both to cover if you're saying they play tonight. Casey or Green Bay. Gosh. I think Casey. I think Green Bay's trying to establish that these receivers are good, but they need to develop better. So maybe a tight end, maybe a good lineman, but I think they're going to keep the same guys they have. Maybe bring in one guy to play slot. But with a healthy Randall Cobb, you do have Lazard playing good. You do have what's his name, Dobbs. He's got guys, Walton, I think it is. Yeah, Watson. So I think they're going to develop them and get people excited. Maybe get a big defensive star in the draft. Uh, Cal Poly, I guess. Whoever's 0 and 4 against the spread. I was told it was Cal and Clemson, so I like them both to cover. Just because they haven't yet. Tomorrow, yeah, a lot of the teams I like play tomorrow and the next day. So I'm trying to get all the ones for today out there, but there's so many that it's tough. Like I didn't know about Boise until you guys told me. I didn't know about Wyoming until you guys told me. So maybe what I'll do if it's easier, like I said, I can once I get screen share, I can just have a list of all the teams I like, and then you guys, if you want, you can see who's playing, and we can get them all locked in. So Cal plays tomorrow, Clemson plays tomorrow. I like Arizona State, but they play tomorrow. Charlotte. A lot of the schools I like play tomorrow or the next day. Exactly, Steven. So there's like 20 teams, and what happens is at least I'd say at least about 10 of them are going to get off of that undefeated. Probably 12 to 14, and then the ones that we missed we double up on. And by week 7 or 8, I just seriously doubt there's going to be teams left with zero. Even with 25 games, you're a third of the way into the season. So that's why I like continuously fading and taking teams with that metric. I know there's a lot of them if you include the over unders, but that's actually a good thing because when those when those zeros start disappearing, it makes it a lot tougher. Oh, does it? Okay, I didn't know it showed me the schedule. See, when I pull it up, it just shows me the team and like how they're doing. Um, I'm sure I could. Oh, okay. I have to go to menu. I see. Yeah, I see it now. Okay. Yeah, I see. I can find the schedule. All right, cool. So for next time, I'll be able to do that. So, copy. I think Jones winds up winning out for now. I think Zap is cool. I think he did what he needed to do. But I think since Jones is a little more athletic, a little more charismatic and animated, they're going to stick with him. Also, it seems like they like quarterbacks that make the occasional mistake. So I think they stick with Mac Jones for now, but they have a lot of talking about it. I think I think Tomlin drafts a quarterback like Hendon Hooker, or he might get I don't know why Zach or Levi's, whatever his name is, Will Levi's. He's ranked third, the Kentucky quarterback. I don't understand. Yeah, I know. I can click the team, but then it takes forever for me to check everyone while I'm trying to do a live stream. That's all. Yeah, Loyola. We lost them the other night, so we're gonna take them again. I took them to cover and they didn't. Same thing with Cal actually. So we're gonna be taking Loyola again if they whenever they. I thought they played tomorrow, but I love Loyola because we picked them and they didn't cover. Now they're 0 and 4. I think they cover the next game. So that's basically what I do for my metric. But I think they get a quarterback, and you have Mike Tomlin build up a Hendon Hooker. Now, who I think he's way better than Levi's. Um, I think so. Yeah. I mean, well, Trubisky was somebody that they got. You know, they didn't draft him, and if they get an early pick, they got Bryce and they got CJ both going in the top five. And for some reason, they have Levi's going in the top five, but Hendon Hooker going in the second round, which makes no sense to me. So I wonder if Hendon Hooker is going to be like a Ben, not even like a Ben, like an Aaron Rodgers, drafted kind of later than he should been, but winds up being better than a lot of the earlier quarterbacks. I actually think Bryce Young's going to wind up flopping. Yeah, they did. Maybe they get a receiver. Maybe I mean I didn't look at the mock draft. I thought Hendon Hooker was being disrespected really bad. To me, he's everything an NFL quarterback should want or NFL team should want. And I don't know how this man is ranked 45th. He's ranked in the second round behind other like as a fifth quarterback. Like I don't know if you guys look at Levi's this year and look at Hendon Hooker. What tells you that Levi's is any better? I don't get it. His numbers aren't better. Hendon Hooker's more poised. He got more wins. He can run. He did everything better. But it's like the NFL knows something. Maybe they don't want Hendon Hooker to be successful. They're going to give him the Heisman, but that's about it. Not to ramble, it's just weird. Oh, that's a hard one. So Peyton came out right, and then he said, "Oh, Archie's Eli's better than me. He's way better than me." And technically, Eli won more Super Bowls than him, but he wasn't better than him. And now they're pumping up Arch as like the best ever. I think for the nostalgia factor, Arch is going to be good. I don't think it's a coincidence we have Frank Gore Jr., uh, Marvin Harrison Jr. On the NBA side, you got Scottie Pippen's son, you got Shaq's son on the Lakers. I think they're trying to bring nostalgia into the game. Michael Pittman Jr. So instead of just like a lot of players went by different names, like when Ryan Neese came into the league, he didn't want to be Ronnie Lott Jr. So he changed his last name to Neese, so people knew him as his own self. Now he wasn't there; he wasn't very successful because of that. But yeah, it was weird. Yeah, Shaq's son's on the Sharif O'Neal. He's on the Lakers along with Scottie Pippen's son. I mean, how do people not see the rig? It's like a movie. LeBron's playing with all the Suns legends, and then he's going to get Bronny. I just think it's so weird. The Suns are. I think they're doing it for nostalgia. He was horrible. He was terrible. He shouldn't start. I don't. I can't even see them. And I don't know if it's on purpose, but I don't know how the Suns are this much worse than their fathers. Not in every case. You have some Suns playing pretty good, but I mean, you look at these players. Gary Payton, his son's always hurt, but he's a good player. I go to team rankings. I just Google whatever sport it is, college football against the spread, and then it'll say team rankings. It's a green site. Hey, are you a George Carlin fan, Adam? I think you might be. George Carlin was the smartest man to ever exist. People don't understand how intelligent he was. Yeah, it's a big club and we ain't in it. Uh, Yeah, Nance, I think that's why he got quote injured. I think they wanted Jimmy G. They wanted Jimmy G's a draw. They act. You know how they give them all like a gimmick. So Jimmy G's gimmick is like Mr. Hollywood, right? Like the model. Aaron Rodgers' gimmick is the gunslinger. Like the beard, the old Western gunslinger. They all have their little gimmicks. Mahomes, I would just say Mahomes is the face. He's the I don't even know what to call him, but he's just the face of the NFL. He's the guy who can do it all, like the spokesperson. But it just seems like everybody has a little bit of a gimmick. Is Herbert looking bad? That's not good. I don't know why they're not putting this guy over. Hey, what's up, Zach? I have the Chargers covering. I hope I'm right. It looks like once again Justin's not doing too well. I don't get it because 1 second, baby, 1 second. I promise. I do have to take her on a walk. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't get why Herbert is doing so badly. He seems like the perfect guy for them to push, but they're pushing that he needs Keenan Allen. Without Keenan Allen, he's absolute trash. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. I do have to wrap this up just because my poor doggy here has to go out. Um, but I wanted to cover everything. So yeah, tonight to be just so you know, I like the Chargers to cover. All the other ones I still like. I can't do anything about them. The Broncos, the Steelers plus 3.5, and the what was the other one? The Cowboys. But I got to get her out, and I wanted to cover every game. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I agree, Peter. He does not want to be in a rigged system. I don't think he does, and that's probably why. Um, yeah, the stripes are interesting, Neil. I don't know. They seem to do that. They usually win, so I'm hoping they lose. Black and white, maybe it represents jail. I'm not sure. It's interesting, but I think paying attention to the uniforms is interesting. And in the NBA, they're all wearing shit to. I think it's to represent something, some kind of company. So it's really interesting. I'll have to check that out. But everyone, take care. Like I said, I'll be doing this again. I'll put a post up so you can see in time if you want to do it at night, and I'll probably do a poll what we want to talk about. You guys can talk about whatever you want, but sometimes I know people want to talk about the games themselves. Other times people want to talk about more rabbit hole stuff. So I'm always down. For me, it's like a chill session. For me, the later the better. To be honest, I'm an insomniac, so I don't mind doing one of these at like 1 in the morning. But just let me know. I'll put a post up there. And thank you for everybody that watched and just was commenting and stuff. I love talking to you guys. I love talking to you in the Discord. And thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Discord link up in the chat, and I appreciate it, Jane Doe. You have a good mind. I like the theories you have. I think we're kind of on the same page there. Thanks, Cobb. You too, man. You were really I appreciate the stuff you bring up makes sense as far as Vince Young, these players. So I love, I really do. I mean it from my heart. I love when you guys come bring theories. Uh, I have no ego, so I love when someone tells me like, "No, that's not true. This is actually what happened," because then I can reassess. Like I did with Rogers. I immediately said, "Okay, I think he's going to make it." Now I don't. So when you guys give me cool, good information, which you always do, you're helping me as much as I'm helping you, and I mean that. So, take care, guys. As I always say, happy earnings, and I'll have a post up regarding our next live one. And let's go Chargers. And yes, the Discord link will be up in literally 15 seconds. I'm going to post it right on here. It's going to be the comment that I pin. So you guys will see it. Take care, everyone. Happy earnings.